Welcome to Florida's only cannabis radio program. Welcome to Cannabis Life Radio.
Say she wants to know. Say she wants to know. Say she wants to know. See, just before I put the lighter to my spliff, piece of breeze go blow, it's so loud she get a whiff. Must have been an offensive aroma. It gave the impetus to make her come over. Kinda know there was a question when the motion get close. Touch me on my shoulder, say to tickle her nose. And she really gotta know, what is it I'm smoking? I'll say it proud, smoking loud. No afraid for smoking a crowd. I'll say it proud, smoking loud. Me bun me chalice in a crowd. I'll say it proud, smoking loud. No afraid for smoking a crowd. I'll say it proud, smoking loud. Me steam chalice in a crowd. Emissar officer down to arrest. No have no criminal or no thief fi address. Me get that dryer from inna the BX and fit tell you the truth of it. Have a ya straight. Watch ya the woman a yard. There's a problem on street. Youth a terrorist and have me house in a mess. Sight a ya blaze me herb, ain't nobody that too vex. This is the only way me know fi release the stress. Say it proud, smoking loud. No afraid for smoking a crowd. I'll say it proud, smoking loud. Me bun me chalice in a crowd. I'll say it proud, smoking loud. No afraid for smoking a crowd. I'll say it proud, smoking loud. Me steam me chalice in a crowd. Just before I put the lighter to my split, piece of breeze go blow, it's so loud she get a whip. Must have been an offensive aroma. It gave the impetus to make her come over. Kinda know there was a question when the motion get close. Touch me on my shoulder, say to stink up her nose. Oh, but you really gotta know, what is it I'm smoking? I'll say it proud, smoking loud. No afraid for smoking a crowd. I'll say it proud, smoking loud. Me bun me chalice in a crowd. I'll say it proud, smoking loud. No afraid for smoking a crowd. I'll say it proud, smoking loud. Me still be chalice in a crowd.
This is Florida's most unique radio program. This is Cannabis Life Radio.
Cannabis Life Radio is live. It's also Florida's only cannabis radio program. Did you hear that?
I think you've been saying that for a long time.
Yes. I'm Leon Hamilton along with R.B. Barroso and Cheryl Murray Powell.
Hey,
and
everyone.
We've got big news, big cannabis news. Breaking right now.
Breaking news.
You want to tell them the numbers? I mean, after just 1 month?
Well, we're huge. Tons of people are listening to this. Thousands of people watch on Facebook. Thousands listen
after just
on
a
radio.
month. I think we're
well, this
competition better be.
Everybody is talking about this radio program on the street. I swear, especially in Palm Beach County.
Well, I mean, you live in Palm Beach,
yeah. So I'm on the street. I know.
You're making your runs,
right? The streets are talking.
The streets are talking about Cannabis Life.
You're making your runs.
Yes. What are you saying? I don't even know what that means. What? Oh, my goodness. R.B. Barroso, Cheryl Murray Powell. We're going to discuss the fact that Rick Scott has signed the rules for Amendment 2 for implementing Florida's cannabis law.
I mean, at least it's rules.
Yeah.
At least now we have a
program. At least
we have a framework to work from.
Yeah,
and then after that, we'll fix that framework.
Yeah. So, yes, we need to improve it greatly. So what is some of the main things that we're going to take away from the program that's being laid out the way it is right now? What's going on?
Mrs. Powell?
Yeah,
Yes.
no problem. I love this part.
Yes.
So, I'm just glad that we have something in place. There are a lot of regulations related to the dispensaries. Also, caregiver, an outline on caregivers. So, you have to be a resident. Let's start there.
Right.
You show that you're
Time out. Now, why shouldn't you be a resident to grow?
Growing is not even in the whole framework of that. So.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm pissed. Whatever.
Yeah. He went from here
Yeah,
to
what?
here.
Womp, womp,
I'm
I said,
I'm not
that's
happy.
just one line of the
Come on,
thousands
man.
We'll talk
of
about
lines.
that later, Cheryl.
And we got another hour and 52
know.
minutes,
Woo!
and you're
came in
already
hot.
angry. Wow.
I came in hot.
We're going to do a how hot is Arby temperature
Yeah.
gauge behind him.
Yeah.
I think everybody at the warehouse found that out this whole week.
My goodness. Wow.
Well, you have to be a resident, but they do consider seasonal residents. So if you're a resident, you can just show your driver's license. If you're a seasonal resident, you show two other things like a deed or a mortgage, et cetera,
Right.
and
So
so on. So to participate.
The biggest news is the 90-day wait period is gone.
The
That is a
90-day wait
blessing,
period is
yes.
gone. So it's
So-
a
That is
huge
very
blessing.
good.
So how does it work now? You go to the doctor, you get
Yep.
your appointment at the doctor, you pay
Yep.
your fee
Yes.
for the doctor fee,
Cash, non-insurance.
right, and then you also have to pay a fee to the state to get your card,
$75
and
for
then
your
they
card.
mail it directly to your home.
They mail it to your home within 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
So
pretty
that's
impressive.
progress, and you
Yeah.
just instead of having the 90 days and then the 4 to 6
Right.
weeks starts.
It was crazy.
Dr. Rosato had posted on Facebook that he checked and it still says like 45 days or something on there. But
What's the-
I'm
what's
sure
the real-
we'll give them a
like-
couple days to catch up.
When do they got to go back? Every 7 months?
Yes, they have to go back every 30 weeks.
30 weeks
30
to get
weeks.
your prescription or recommendation.
Get your recommendation.
Okay.
30 weeks is the minimal time between your visits to the physician.
Okay, and how
You're
much-
given a 70-day supply.
What is the supply? Who determines what
maximum.
the supply is?
That's based on regular. That's a great question. So again, it's up down to the physicians and their
Copperfield.
recommendation. Of course, the Florida Board of Medicine has, they're probably going to put in place their guidelines, et cetera. But
Now you know where I'm at.
a 70. How hot is Arby? So,
It'll be okay.
so 70
Don't run
day
out of water,
supply is
whatever
the
you do.
maximum.
No, I'm
that you can
halfway
give.
down already.
All right.
That's
Oh
the
my
problem.
gosh,
Get you
gotta
more.
get
We
him-
have plenty.
Yeah, we got to get the hose
worry.
out for real. But yeah, that's 70-day supply is the maximum. Physicians, their course went down from 8 hours to 2 hours.
Right.
So that's a good thing. So
That
that'll
is a good
encourage.
thing, but they don't even know what they're doing for the 8 hours. So
Right.
what's the 2 hours going to
They're
do
not
for them?
teaching them anything.
Exactly, but it'll encourage more physicians who didn't want to make that 8-hour investment, an $800 investment, to do the 2 hours with a maximum fee
Right.
of $500.
I agree.
Caregivers, they have to have a background check. There's a one-to-one relationship for the most part. That's like the general rule is one caretaker to one patient.
Right.
The exception is like if it's a minor and both parents need to be caretakers, or someone's developmentally disabled,
Right.
and they need a couple
Out of
of caretakers
necessity.
out of necessity, a
Right.
hospice situation, those types of things. But the rule is 1-to-1. Which means we're not going to have the caretaker business opportunity like we see in other states, like
Right.
maybe like I think Maine. That's something that's happening where people that'll be their job, being
Right.
a caretaker for multiple people.
And so they can prescribe this for 7 ailments plus pain related to those ailments, correct now?
Right. It's 10.
Or 10 ailments now.
10 ailments, and any chronic pain related to those particular ailments, or anything. An
So if I
ailment
got
that's
cancer,
similar.
I fit in. If I
Yeah,
got
you
lupus,
got cancer.
I fit in. I mean, if you got
lupus is not.
I mean, Crohn's.
Yeah, Crohn's definitely. Lupus isn't listed.
It should be.
It should be. HIV and AIDS are considered separate ones.
Yeah.
2 separate ones. ALS, Crohn's, epilepsy.
Totally random.
Yeah, there's definitely opportunity to
Yeah.
add to the list. Sickle cell, which affects the African American
Right.
community. That's a big one.
Opiate
That we
addiction, people that have chronic pain.
Opiate
Yeah.
addiction, sleep abnormalities.
Yes.
I mean, those are huge opportunities as well, and just general chronic pain, like you
Yeah,
said.
and that's why I'm hot.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All
we
right,
need
you
to-
don't have to keep explaining.
But the good news is session starts early this year. So there, as far as more dispensaries, there's going to be 10 issued. As we spoke about last week, a lot lot are spoken for.
Right.
But then every 100,000, then there's 4 additional dispensaries. However, Session, we spoke to Rep. Jones over the past couple of weeks, and he was saying
Shout out
Session,
Jones.
Shout out to Representative Chevron Jones, very supportive of patients in this field. He's going back to session in August for committee.
That's quick.
Yeah, so things may all change next session depending on how the money's
and that's
flowing.
really the important part is really trying to bring in other diseases or people that are trying to fight conditions.
Yeah.
Because it's a really limited amount of people. So the only way you could actually get something for pain is if you're actually
suffer from one of those.
Suffering from one of those. Well, that I think we should be able to change.
Yeah. And Parkinson's I missed, and post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, it seems odd that they have no problem giving people pills if you hurt your back or you're in a car accident. But if you want to get cannabis, no.
Well, that brings me to the top 5 committees or unions that are actually fighting legalization.
No.
The prison guards.
Okay.
Police department.
Okay.
Drug companies.
Okay. Big pharma. Okay.
Alcohol.
All right.
And let me give you
rehabs?
the 5th one. And no. It's big pharma, guards, police department, and prisons. Private prisons.
Yeah. So let's talk about those a little bit. Why? So prison guards. Let's start there. What's their interest in being opposed? Is they lose
their job.
They'll lose their business.
Really?
There's 850,000 people that got arrested in 2016 for possession. It went from 650. It's actually gone up. I was looking at the chart.
Uh-huh.
It's one of the top. So it's methamphetamines.
Right.
They arrest more people for marijuana than crack, than heroin, than cocaine.
Because it's easier.
It's
easier
not that
to do.
it's easier to just put them in there. I mean, the population uses it more than a lot more people than go and smoke crack and use heroin.
And people,
so it's an easier target to fill the prisons in with people that smoke cannabis.
But it's also easier to find because it smells.
But let me tell you another thing. You know who represents and is sponsoring for pro-cannabis?
No.
In what states?
Me.
Well, that's besides the point. Us.
And you. Cheryl.
For sure.
AJ.
You're talking about Nevada.
Okay.
Massachusetts and Arizona. You know why?
No.
They have the first 18 months of the year. Once they make it legalized, they'll be the only ones that'll be able to sell it.
They'll be the only ones to be able to sell it after
they make it after
like
they legalize
deregulation,
they would have the first rights for the first 18 months.
Wow.
So they're the only ones in those states are actually, out of all the people that are against it, from the alcohol companies and big pharma and everybody else, because they realize that they're going to lose $6.7 billion this year.
Right.
Medicaid Part D would save $167 million.
Yeah.
By 2020, it'd be $470 million.
Don't want to save tax dollars. Come on, Arby.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Come on,
and
man.
This is why I'm livid, because when you look at the reason why they're trying to stop it, it's all the big unions from the police departments, and a lot of officers that we've spoken to, including this week we did the American Cancer Society.
Yeah.
We did the jail and bail with DJ Michelle Pooch, and then Laura actually donated her time. And so there's a lot of officers and police officers that we know that we've spoken to, and they're like, we feel regret, just like Judge Bench. They feel regret because they realize that either somebody in their family got sick or something happened where they actually realize, wow, this would be a lot better than actually giving somebody, 12, 13 different types of drugs.
But it's always the cops on the street that are always for it. It's never. It's always the people that are in charge that are never for legalization.
Yeah, I think the cops are more for it. I think the people behind them are. I mean, they're following the law. In other words,
they have to
enforce the law. So again, that's why I don't push for declassification. I push for decriminalization of this.
So stop making it a crime.
Stop making it a crime. So these private prisons, which they're popping up everywhere, and by their contract, they need to be 95% full.
Yeah.
How do you make a contract like that with the state and say, I'm going to make sure that 95% of your prison's full?
Right.
How do you do that? So in other words, you use the people out in the street that are either on cannabis or anything else, and just throw them in jail.
Right, because that's the easiest. That's why.
that sucks.
Yeah. Well, we're going to change that.
Yeah. When we had Desmond Meade on, from Say Yes to Second Chances, he did say that marijuana is the gateway to the criminal justice system. So if that changes, it is going to be cause disruption, but a good disruption.
We hope so.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
if we decriminalize at a local level, we encourage decriminalization at a national level, and we do want to empty the jails. There's no pride in knowing that America incarcerates more of its citizens than anyone else. So let's
18
move
times over.
Yeah, and then again we have these baby criminals who aren't criminals, who are classified as criminals because they are using medical marijuana or a part of that the black market for it, and then they go to these prisons where they are with hardened criminals and they learn more about crime there. So let's keep them, the ones who can be influenced to be positive contributing citizens, keep them out of the criminal justice system.
And that's what we're going to try to do now that DJIRE weekend's coming up.
Yes, I want to hear more about that. I'm super excited about DJIRE
cool.
weekend.
Cheryl, you're invited.
Yes, thank you so much.
Why are you saying that?
I'm going shopping tomorrow. Yes, I got to find the right dress for DJIRE weekend.
DJIRE weekend is coming. Leon, you are welcome to come on Sunday.
Am I allowed on Sunday?
Well, no, on the Monday after for the after
welcome.
Party.
DJIRE weekend. Leon, you're welcome to come on Sunday.
We'll be working, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And we are going to be working.
Wow.
We're going to do
that
a
might
live
be the first
remote,
time I've
too.
ever blushed in my life.
I love red on you, Leon.
Rip out my heart and stomp on it, sir. Wow.
Well,
but isn't that the Kevin Hart party night? Like
the Sunday night is Kevin Hart?
That is Kevin Hart's birthday party on Sunday.
Oh, I'll definitely be there.
So there you go. There
absolutely.
You go. See?
So that was a good invitation.
It's a handout.
You're so rude.
But let's hear more about how did you get there? How did you get invited to?
Well, what we're trying to do is first we're going to be one of the 5 founding fathers, which is really, really big for us. We spoke with House Representative Shervin Jones, future Senator Mr. Jones,
absolutely,
about what we're trying to do back in the community, what we're trying to give back, and I think it starts with the inner city because DJIRE and the foundation Big Brothers Big Sisters offers that. They have an auditorium where you could actually go in and speak about, how did I get there, or how did Cheryl get there, how did Leon get there, how did our guys that are filming us from Jeff, Will and AJ and everybody else that's in the room, how did we get here? Whether we came from the inner city, middle class, or across the board. And I think for the fact that if we could teach them that this is another avenue legally to go and start growing, whether it's hemp, SB 1726, whether it's the cannabis industry, whether they don't even want to be in that industry, but they learn how to grow on a light depth or different types of formation of how to, ways to grow. I think that offers a lot of students and people opportunities into an industry, whether it's an internship with TFC Marketing, whether it's an internship with Green Roads, whether it's on the wellness program, whether it's with our edible line, and that's what we spoke about. It's really important to give them an opportunity because not everybody's going to grade, pass their SATs and get great scores and go to great universities.
Absolutely not.
We need to be able to provide them an outlet, and I think this outlet is huge. So they're giving us the forum to be able to speak to them once a month. Besides that, we are donating on the stage 4. Basically, there's 4 stages. We're at the 4th stage, which is the 4th floor of DJIRE, which is all music.
Right.
And we'll own the green room there. So this Thursday we'll have the gala, and a lot more people are going to hear about what we're doing and what we're trying to do for the inner city.
Wearing.
Oh, how are you coming dressed?
I'm going shopping tomorrow. I got to come correct.
I got to get measured for tuxedos and stuff. It's
all that.
It's something that definitely Leon would not want to do.
No.
All that. No, Leon, you're out of you're out of Thursday night.
That's
no tuxedo.
So it's going to be important because we're going to actually be able to, help these kids that are between that ages of 8 to 16 that go. There's 3,200 children that go to Big Brothers and Big Sisters from 2:30 to 7. And I think offering them that opportunity of where they could go, use your talents,
right?
And let's make something
and pursue non-traditional occupations. So, like from what I'm hearing from you is like, one, you're providing the opportunity for TED Talk-like environment in the auditorium. 2, you're kind of creating a resurgence, a renaissance of agriculturalism, which is a dying part of our industry.
Agreed.
But it's like so important for survival that people know how to grow something. So they'll be able to grow tomatoes, whatever, based on the techniques that have been fine-tuned over centuries. And they'll have insight into that, which is fantastic. And then those of them who have an affinity with music, they'll have a full studio for these children to learn how to produce music, record music, basically cradle to grave of the music industry, cradle to grave from growing to commercialization of the agricultural industry. And this is a huge opportunity for these inner city children. And I think I love the multiculturalism of it.
It's awesome. And it's really crossing borders and just being able to, that building offers them so much. I mean, that's where they go to get their studies done if they don't have a computer. They have a cafeteria there where they actually make their foods and they're working to get to that food, So what we actually offered to DJ Irie and their amazing foundation of Big Brothers Big Sisters is that they could actually go up on the roof. Absolutely. We would love in the next 2 or 3 years to actually make a light depth or and make some place there where we could actually have a class, a curriculum to teach them how to grow the strawberries, tomatoes, and add that to their curriculum besides having the music and everything else that they're going to be offering. So it's going to be a really interesting Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I'm in.
Closing out on Sunday.
Sunday
too.
Sunday with Leon.
Too. Yeah, Sunday too is going to happen.
Sunday with Leon.
Just want to let you know that Sunday's a big day.
And by the way, we're flying in Treyas Jarrell.
Treyas Jarrell is going to be on the show next week.
He'll be here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday.
What are you trying to say?
Sunday's the big day.
Because you're going to be there.
Sunday is the final.
It is the big grand finale.
That's like going to the first game of the. You want to go to the finals.
Yeah, that's true. The finale.
The finale. That's where you want to be.
That's where you want to be. That's where you're going to be, Leon.
Do I really have to wear a tux?
Not on Sunday.
Okay, good. All right, we're going to talk more about this, but right now, you know what time it is? It's 4:20. It's time for Bill Monroe.
Cannabis Life Radio proudly presents In the Know with Bill Monroe.
Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
All right.
Hey, Bill.
Bill Monroe.
How are you?
Hello, Bill. Bill Monroe. Bill Monroe. Bill,
are you with us?
Hello, Bill.
Bill.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you, Bill.
Hello.
Did you hear the applause? Because then we'll do it again and make sure you're
Yeah.
feeling the love.
You want more applause?
No, I'm not feeling the love. That's fine.
Awesome. Excellent.
What's going on, Bill?
Well, a lot's going on. I mean, since the governor signed 8A, we're going to see a lot of things kicking off here coming up. There's going to be 10 new licenses issued between now and October. And I think really out of that 10, there's probably only going to be 2 or 3 that are open slots. The rest of them are already taken up. 3 boys won their administrative lawsuit, so they're going to have a license. And there's Plants of Ruskin, Sunbulb, Treadwell, Tropicana, which is that citrus line that got put into 8A. I believe it's going to Tropicana. Luke's Nursery, and then the Black Farmers that are associated with the Pigman case. So that's 7. There may be an 8th one, so I think in actuality there's only 2 or 3 actual slots. So once these new licenses get issued, then they're going to need cultivators, they're going to need dispensary managers, they're going to need a lot of people, and things will start taking off. On top of that, I noticed that Satura is getting ready to open 6 to 7 new dispensaries. True Leave, they had a lot of traction there for a while. They were getting up to 25. That may slow down. But some of the others, like Green Solutions, I think they're going to wait for about 18 to 24 months before they put in dispensaries. Knox are putting in 3 to 5. And I haven't heard that much from Costa coming out of them. But so the takeaway is that with the governor signing 8A, we're going to see a flurry of events for 2017 going into 2018, where a lot of folks are going to be hiring, building out, looking for growers, doing cultivation, trying to catch up with the 6 or 7 people that were licensed and get going. On top of that, with the Freya USA, they're closing the deal with Chestnut Hill, it looks like. So they're known for very large super grows, so you may see something like that going on here in Gainesville coming up.
I think that adds to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really care about who comes first. I mean, there's a lot of companies that are in Colorado that were there first and they're no longer there. So it's really about making the best medicine. At the end, it's who has the best real grower.
Best medicine, quality, and people that can answer the questions. I mean, if you walk into an area and people don't know anything about the product or the medicinal purposes or the endocannabinoid system, they're going to lose confidence. So go slow, make sure all your people are trained and up to date, and then you got quality products, and you have quality testing on those products. I think if those people that are their core strengths and skills and knowledge are rooted in the industry, they'll do well. It's the people that are fast to the races will soon slow down, and they'll be passed eventually. So yes, I agree with you there.
So where do you see how it's going? Where do you see it finishing? This is a 3-year plan, 4-year plan. Where do you see it really starting to grab roots here in Florida and really move forward in a fast pace?
I think the groups that are knowledgeable, putting out a good product, and they're helping the patients, and they're concentrating on the seniors and the assisted living and the memory care areas, and because the seniors are a forgotten group, and you start working with these people and start thinking this is medical, focus on the medical, and start helping those people. Like they have various focus groups here in Florida that deal in autism and epilepsy and Dravet's and Parkinson's. What about those groups? Who's working with those groups? I don't know of any license holder that is going out
Green Roads is working with the Epilepsy Association. We just had a meeting. We're going to be a part of their health trainings. Green Road's working with the American Cancer Society. Green Road's is working with MS Foundation.
Seizures with Dr. Lynn Meister. I mean,
and
I
also
agree
the
with
Crohn's,
you,
Crohn's Association.
And Crohn's Association.
So
I agree.
That's what we need. Other than Green Roads, can you point to any other license holder right now who's doing that?
Nope.
I can't.
And not even that. I think each grower should take part on a nonprofit organization where they actually donate a certain amount of their profits, minimal, whatever they feel fit, obviously, because it's not a dictatorship, but they want a monopoly. I think they should be able to associate themselves with a nonprofit and help those who need the help with this type of product and move forward. What do you think about that?
I totally agree. I mean, give back to the community. It's there and put in all these stores and say you're compassionate and you're for the patients, but unless you're truly putting the rubber to the road and actually putting what you say into work and into the community, it's just words. So I mean, that's what we need to have. We need to have people actually going forward, such as Green Roads, and work with the community and do that. That's what I want to see is this be a symbiotic relationship. Everybody benefits.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I know there's plenty of opportunity for this radio station for Cannabis Life Radio to work with the dispensaries, the current ones, and the ones who are applying in the cycle minority law. We have we're working with individuals as well, and we're encouraging them to get involved with these organizations where their clients are basically patients, and they need to adopt that mindset and do whatever they can to promote medicine and promote healing. Again, we're not trying to create forever customers. We're trying to get people past where they are right now so that science can advance, so that they can have well lives. And right now, cannabis is an important part of that solution.
We got 1,000 emails a couple weeks ago when we put out the question, who's looking for a doctor before the law passed, and we received 1,000 emails.
That's great.
So that's something that Jeff and will be handling. Is we will be providing access to wherever their area code's at, so we could provide them the closest doctor for them to be able to go get the prescription, which is really important for us. And that's kind of why we've held back from even marketing or advertising, is because those are the people that should be marketing and advertising with us, is making sure that the patients know where they could go to get the right medicine for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would love to have
part of what I'm going to be doing now that 8A has passed is developing a slide deck for patients and then also doctors, where it's kind of laying out the step-by-step processes. This is what you need to do as a doctor to sign up and register and be able to recommend patients. And patients, this is what you need to do to go through the following steps. Right. And then eventually when I get done with that, I'm going to go ahead and disseminate that for people to use.
Are you? Where do we stand on this next session for adding more diseases or adding more to the list for people to have better access and conditions? Do you think that'll see something?
One thing what we need to do is just put together a list of what it is we agree with. I mean, what we've mentioned in the past is it's hard to hold lawmakers' attention. So you have to go in there with 2 or 3 key things and keep harping on it over and over and over again in order for it to sink in. If we mention too many things to them, they get distracted and then they squirrel and they go off to something else.
Like 4-year-olds.
Like 4 years old. So
we didn't say that, but Leon did.
I did. It was me.
He'll say it again. He'll say it again.
We got to work with them.
4-year-olds.
It was not us.
It was me. Sorry.
But we don't want them distracted. We want them focused. And, please reach out in your network and let them know that we would love to have the dispensary owners or their leadership team come on the show, talk to their patients, talk to their clients, and really address some of the issues, some of the concerns. Again, if they're going to make money off them, they might as well
make real money. I mean, make money, but at least have patient access.
Absolutely.
And understand how to get you that patient to them. So that's the most important part, because that's how we build the patient base, and then we could have more dispensaries, more grows, more professionals, because there are some real good growers.
Informed patients and more access.
Absolutely. Access is just going to change the whole game.
The physicians are the gatekeepers. I mean, if you don't have the physicians trained and up to speed and they know what to do, it doesn't matter. You won't have patient throughput except through some of them like, Doc, MJ, and the others that know what they're doing. But a lot of the teachers, the physicians that I've talked to here in Brevard and Indian River County, they're trying. They don't know where to go. Where do I start? What do I do? So we're going to have to help them out along the way. Everybody in all the individual counties are going to try and have to help out as much as possible. And once we have the physicians up to speed, then the patients will follow along with us.
Absolutely, because they listen to their doctors. I mean, whatever their doctors tell them to do, that's what they do. So as long as we could provide that education to those doctors and just let them know where the access is at, because they, like you said earlier, they're really not approaching the elderly community. And the elderly community get 7 to 10 prescriptions every time they go to the doctor. So there's a lot of things that the elderly could learn from.
There are so many medications that can be eliminated. I mean, my mother, when she had Parkinson's, was taking handfuls of pills, and then I had to get a advocate nurse in to review all her medications, and then the advocate nurse said, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of this. And I was trying to get my mother's doctor to approve of CBD so I could give it to the assisted living center so they could give it to my mother 3 times a day, because I wasn't going to be around to doing that. And just as I was getting close to that, I mean, my mother died of pneumonia. But so there's a lot of battles out there being fought and everything, and that can help people. So to me, it's personal what I'm doing here.
RB is very passionate about that assisted living demographic and how we can, educate their leadership and get those patients the medicine they need.
I mean,
he's always talking about that.
Yeah, my mom passed the same way. She got a stomach infection because of all the medication medication she was on, and she passed on June 2nd, 2014. So that's something that we're extremely passionate about, and I think they misread the voters even at that time when this whole passed, because they thought that the older generation was just not going to accept it, and I think they were completely wrong. So we should continue to open up these doors, and I knew it wasn't going to be a complete open door. I saw it happen in Colorado. It's just legislation would come in, and then next one they would change a couple more laws, and then the next one they change a couple more laws. So hopefully in the next 2 or 3 years, everybody will have access, the right access, and the right medicine for them to be able to actually go to the doctor and get a prescription for.
And Bill, what's next for you? Session's over, special session's over. What are you into now? What are you doing?
He's at
What's
the beach.
next?
He's at the beach.
I need to know.
So with me, I'm studying more about the medical side of it. I'm working with Cameron DeCesar out there at Steep Hill Labs and learning more about cannabinoids and cannabinoid behavior and a lot of things I thought I know. I would sit down and ask him a question, and then he would talk to me for 20 minutes, and I go, I never knew that.
Nice.
You surprised me actually on that.
Yeah.
Because we spoke at the SEC conference at the expo, and he's up there with the whole thing, and he's like talking about CBD. I'm like, I had to pause and look at him for a minute. I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's good. That's good. I'm really happy to hear that, Bill.
Yeah.
You're used to busting down doors where CBD is
going multiple layers into the cannabinoids and learning from the Yodas about California on how all the cannabinoids work. Matter of fact, I'm trying to arrange a little mini summit out there, and we'll have to see where that goes and everything. So that's one thing I'm working on there, and then just trying to figure out what's happening politically, because with John Morgan, he's talking about running for governor, but then again, he's raising money for the House Leader Richard Corcoran. So, is he interested in becoming governor, or is he interested in Richard Corcoran becoming governor?
He ain't running for governor. He just threw his hat in there, found out how much money he could raise, and be like, you know what? Nah, this is not for me.
Yeah, he seems to me like a power broker.
Lawsuit over smoking between now and July 1st. Yeah, we'll have to see what.
He would much rather be behind the scenes, from what I gather.
Really? What
it seems to me he's like he's a button pusher.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Kind of like me.
Like you?
Bottle pusher. What are you talking about? I said button pusher.
Morgan's still trying to get involved in one of the grows right now. So
really?
He's running around trying to find out which one he can get in with.
Yeah.
Of course he is.
So that's still ongoing right now. And then what's really interesting I've been following too is Satura. They've been told by the courts you have to tell who your investors are.
Right.
And Satura is fighting this, and it may even go up to the Supreme Court, where they're going to try and say that their investors are trade secrets, and of course it's not. So why are you not wanting to disclose who your name of investors are?
Yeah. Is that what the article you came out with on Facebook? I was reading a little bit on it, and you were talking about that they were having issues with that, and they wanted that they may have a problem.
Was it that one or the city of Tallahassee?
Or the city
one?
of Tallahassee.
The Tallahassee part was the part that I saw.
With True Leaf?
Yeah. With Karen.
There's an issue there with True Leaf where it's a long, drawn-out story. But in essence, what they were doing is Kim Rivers and J.T. Burnett, who's involved up there in Tallahassee politics and rebuilding and refurbishing, and also Kim is involved with True Leaf, is that they get federal funds for doing refurbishment of areas in the blighted communities that are supposed to help the poor.
Right.
So reading into these articles is, when you go in there and rebuild a building and you put in a 4-star restaurant in there and you flip it and you make millions of dollars, are you really helping the poor, or is something else?
They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Don Chulis.
I guess it's going to help the poor people, I guess, because they're going to be working in the back.
Proper use of money. So
yeah,
it's a joke.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But we appreciate. I mean, we know that you've been forefront
for the most part.
You've been forefront with this since we got on the radio, and this is our 20th episode. So you've been with us from the beginning and really pushing hard, and it's kind of cool to first thanks for even allowing me to sit next to you when you were giving the seminar. But I was really impressed by the fact that you were just talking about CBD and the endocannabinoid system and what effects it does and what it has, that you really don't need the psychoactive part for certain people.
Right.
And for certain other people, absolutely. I mean, I think the full plant should be accessible to anybody that needs it.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn, and I'm learning so much more on CBD just by talking with some of the various folks where I thought it was worth my time to fly out to California here in the future and spend 3 to 4 days learning from the folks out there. So
that's a huge opportunity.
Take that back and share it here.
Absolutely. I'll be all ears. I'd like to know if they have anything that I don't know. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Looking to learn there.
Share,
then,
please, Bill.
I already told him I'm going to try to coordinate a trip the same time he's out there.
We'll fly you out there.
Yeah.
We'll sneak in.
All right,
That's all
you
I
guys.
need.
You make your plans in a little while, okay? We got to take a break here.
All right.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
We love you.
All right, we'll talk to you next week. All right, you are currently tuned to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
Finally, topical pain relief from hemp is available in Florida. Pain Blaster Extreme Cream. New Pain Blaster Extreme Cream uses powerful essential oils to deliver hemp's natural anti-inflammatory properties directly to the site of pain. Pain Blaster Extreme Cream. New Extreme Cream is available exclusively at Florida Home Grow in Lake Worth and online at extremecreamnow.com. Extremecreamnow.com. That's Pain Blaster Extreme Cream, available at Florida Home Grow in Lake Worth and online at extremecreamnow.com. extremecreamnow.com. Florida Home Grow is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out our organic hemp oils, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee while checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Home Grow also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try an all-natural lemonade or delicious organic ice cream sandwich. Florida Home Grow is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog Road and the Turnpike. We're Florida's #1 seller of hemp oil products because our stuff works.
If you need cannabis as medicine, you need Cannabis Life Radio.
Yes, Wait the town with the righteous sound. Tell me who should I fear while I walk on the righteous ground. Nowadays some of the wickedest missions just not the whitest ground. Get the pen and paper, write this down. Well, me say me no like a certain man a guan. Well, me say me no love on some woman a guan. Them claims say them have love in them all. And as you turn your back, them start to laugh. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Enough of them a say clean and grass. See you on the edge and want to push you off. Them want you fall. Enough things out the road where me no like, so I write songs to highlight it. Me no like when another guy see another guy rise like the sun and try fight it. Me no like it. When a girl see a man a kill himself on the night shift, then she ball out straight. If you not driving new QA, she not get excited. Born a girl Jamaica, flag go fine for make the paper. But life still rough like a sandpaper, so we never eat, we save for later. Why when I read the newspaper, I'm see a killer, thief and raper. Me have to go fly long 1 November to talk about love in a sweet Jamaica. I don't know say me no like a certain man a guan. Well me say me no love or some woman a guan. Them claims say them have love in them all. And as you turn your back, them start to laugh. Oh, them laugh. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Enough of them a snake in a grass. See you on the edge and want to push you off. Them want you fall. Me talking all low, no like when me talk still have to face. Me tell the truth, me say the music I get too low, take it back to basic. Enough of them me tell you say them lifestyle clean, but when they check it out it dirty. Enough big man have a 9 to 5, but them quick to show you 6:30. Clean words in my dirty mouth, me say no really what happening when they work it out. You have to walk with a torch, have to search it out. Them all like off a light, you circuit out. And them know why you live good. Not even when you get for the best stuff, but I follow the order of the father, so you know, so you not see me on the dirty bro. Me no like a certain man a guan. Only say me no like a some woman a guan. Them claims say them have love in them all. And as you turn your back, them start to laugh. Oh, them laugh. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Enough of them a snake in a grass. See you on the edge, I want to push you off. Them want you fall. Enough things out the road, but me no like, so I write songs to highlight. Go find to make the paper. But life will rock like a sandpaper. You hate that?
Hi, Mike.
Nobody covers cannabis news like Cannabis Life Radio. Nobody.
Try to keep a straight face. Cannabis Life Radio is on the air. I'm Leon Hamilton along with Arby Barroso and Cheryl Murray Powell and the entire
We're
gang.
here.
I'm jealous.
We are Florida's only cannabis radio program. Can you believe it?
I can believe it, but right now, look at this picture. My wife's sitting at the pool with my daughter.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law, my sister. It's not right.
Just showing you a little bit what you're missing. But you're here with us.
That ain't right.
Yeah, why don't you take a picture of us and send it to them? They'll be jealous.
We'll just do
Trust me.
Actually, you got a point.
Yeah. Get me in that picture, they'll be
I'll be
like,
I'm glad I'm not there.
It looks like a pretty day, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Where's it at?
Outside.
I don't know. I think they're at the park, at TY Park, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
Yeah. I know my daughter's having a good time, so shout out to Bree. Shout out to my wife
Bree.
and Jesse. Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's exactly what it's all about.
All right, now let's get back to work.
All right.
Let's get back to work. We have Melanie Grant come on the phone.
Melanie.
So we're going to be talking to Melanie Grant. Just let me give you some background on Melanie.
Okay.
So yesterday, I'll start with yesterday and work backwards, I guess. So yesterday at my office in Fort Lauderdale, at the law firm Dumar Allsworth, where I reside, even though I started as a law clerk there, I'm now with Minority Law. They let me stay.
Oh, you're with Minority?
I'm with Minority Law now.
Wait,
what?
Did I not get that memo out? Press release.
Really?
Hot Mike.
Somebody's moving up in the world.
So we're doing big things. Michael Minardi, shout out to him. He's a great senior partner, and we spend a lot of time collaborating across the state. So I love working with him.
Great person. Great choice.
Yes.
Great.
For both of
Huge
you.
active.
For both of you.
Yes, I agree. I think we're a power team, right?
I think absolutely
Definitely.
power team.
We have great plans for the state from an activism standpoint as well as a legal standpoint. So we're both super amped. And I'll see him next week on a Friday. We're going to have a working session. We're going to be, or is it next week? Maybe the week after next. He always he has to correct me on that. July 7th, because July 8th is the Florida Cannabis Coalition Beach Green.
We'll be there.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's going to be like so much fun. So they're having like a green carpet event. Leon,
more stuff I'm not invited
you're
to.
invited.
No,
so
but you didn't wait for her to finish.
Right.
That's the
I was
problem.
going to say, Leon, you're invited.
You know,
Waiting to hear
that's the
something
problem.
that somebody had
He's
told
like,
me
"I'm not
about
invited."
earlier.
Well,
somebody had maybe forward me an email or an invitation.
Listen, we do things really fast here.
It's really just like I tag you and then Arby knows
You're
that
in.
he's going. Yeah,
Okay.
tag you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it.
Tag you.
So yes, Florida Cannabis Coalition, great organization, a lot of good education for the state of Florida. Shout out to Pete Sessa, Tom Quigley, Mike Wong, Carlos Hermida, and they're having this green carpet event on the beach, like on the Causeway in Tampa, on July 8th. So please go on Florida Cannabis Coalition. It's going to be tons of fun, absolutely. So this day before, I'm going to be spending a lot of time with Michael Minardi, and we're going to get our plan together as far as cannabis in the state. So I'm super excited about that.
Great person, great decision, and I think between both of you, there's going to be a lot of people listening. That's for sure.
Well, you're my counsel, so you probably knew before anyone else that was going to happen because I trust you.
Absolutely,
and I engage you in all my major decisions.
Blessed.
So thank you for that guidance. But Melanie and I had a webinar yesterday with Florida Cannabis Coalition. It was the Patience with Patients webinar. We talked through the caretaker provisions in the legislation.
Yeah.
We talked through what Patience with Patients does as an organization. I've known Melanie for years. She actually lives on the block with my parents, so I've seen her, mature into the woman she is now. She has sickle cell. As we know, sickle cell is not listed as a condition on the legislation currently, but that's one of the things that she's working towards, and she works with patients with a variety of illnesses to make sure that their voices are heard as they're interacting with their physicians and as legislation is written. So I admire her a lot. I've known her forever, but I admire what she's doing, and I am general counsel for her organization, Patients with Patients.
We'll push it. That's
no
for
doubt.
Sure. They got to open up more access to these patients.
No doubt. Absolutely. So, Melanie, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Hey,
good day, Melanie.
How are you?
How are you guys?
Having fun, and then try to educate at the same time. Leon's making life difficult.
Yes, that's my job.
I know.
So, Melanie, I was talking about how our webinar went yesterday with Florida Cannabis Coalition, and it was really exciting because that was kind of your debutante ball, let's say, for the cannabis industry. A lot of people in the industry, they don't know about your organization and the parallels between what you do and what patients are looking for in the cannabis industry. So can you kind of tell us how your organization originated and a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for having me. So Patients with Patients of America is a nonprofit organization that caters and advocates to chronic illness patients. What we do is we liaison between the healthcare provider and the patient in the hospital, and then also outside the hospital, we try to help you manage your disease and cope with your disease. So a little bit about me. My name is Melanie Grant. I went to college at Johnson & Wales University with a bachelor's degree in marketing. I graduated actually in 2011, and I was in the sector of just basically we're trained in college to start businesses and innovate. And so my whole college career, that's basically what I was geared towards. And I was also struggling in school with having sickle cell anemia, and it's a blood disorder that both parents have to have the trait for you to have it fully. So both my mom and dad have it, and I'm the 1 out of 4 possibilities of a pregnancy that can have it. So I was just that lucky one. And I came out with sickle cell SS, which is the most dominant and the most severe of the disease, which means that the cells in my blood are round shaped, and then some of them are shaped like half moons, and those half moons clump together in the veins and cause severe pain. So you have a host of patients that in Palm Beach County, Broward County, Miami-Dade County, that the only thing that can really treat sickle cell when you're in a crisis is either a blood transfusion if your blood level is really, really low, or they'll go ahead and give you either pain medication, which is narcotics, whatever dose and whatever strength works for you, and then also they give you IV saline, and they just kind of wait for it to go away. So, wow. For us, it was so hard because I see so many times, my mom is a nurse, and I see so many patients come in and they don't know what to do. They're addicted to these high levels of medication. And if they try other options, like medical marijuana, they're looked at in the medical community as either drug seekers because there's high levels of THC in their system. Right. So I wanted to find a way, to help all these patients. And the only way that I knew that there was a lack, there's a bunch of nonprofits, there's a bunch of organizations that cater to chronic illness, but there was none out there that was specifically for the patient's day-to-day life, advocating for the patient, assisting the patient, especially with medical marijuana, trying to understand how to use it, how to get it legally, what to do, and so those are the things that we wanted to ensure. We need the access. We need it now. And so how do I go about doing that? And as a patient, most patients don't know how to. So you need somebody to fight for you, and that's what the advocacy program does. And that's the sad part. That is the sad part of why somebody's looking a patient that's trying to fight a daily, their pain, the disease, and then next thing you know, they get pulled over. They have medical marijuana, because for them it would be medical marijuana, and then they would get, next thing you know, they're in jail. They're criminalized. And they're patients, and they're trying to live longer. But you could explain that over and over and over again, and they just don't pay attention to it. And that's where when I looked at the numbers, when I was going through everything on the computer, that's what upsets me the most, is the fact that people are going to this for medicine. And then they're going to criminalize them by taking them to jail, ruining their life, because obviously now they have a charge against them going to jail, could affect their jobs in the future, and it really just tears everybody apart from beginning to end. And those who don't understand that in the family of why you were driving around with medical marijuana. Which makes it even worse. Right. Yeah, so you're not getting support from your family. Everybody's looking at you like you're a drug addict and you're just sick. And you know it works. It's like, this works best
here's some oxys. Drive around with that. But, cannabis is bad. Right.
I actually have a friend who he's a huge advocate in the sickle cell community and what they call sickle cell survivors and people who live with the disease. They call them warriors. And so he's known. He travels around the country. He speaks at different conventions, and he himself has the disease. And he, said to me when I met up with him, he was like, Melanie, a couple of years ago, I used marijuana just to, help me with my pain. And he decided to go holistic. He no longer wanted to continue, using opioids because they're highly addictive. And so he wanted to transition his body. He went vegan and everything. And so he started using marijuana to treat his symptoms. And he was in his car, coming home one night. He got pulled over, and then now he has a charge for having, a small amount of weed, but it was still enough where they took him to jail, and he was trying to fight it for the longest and trying to get it off his record because he is someone who, at that time Amendment 2 wasn't passed. So, it was something where it's not accepted, it's not legal, and, what do you do if you're a patient?
And there's going to be counties in Florida that have that problem. I'm telling you right now, we will hear stories of people getting pulled over.
Yep.
Actually, Irvin Rosenfeld was telling me about it. He was at our warehouse. He's like, he got pulled over and one of the times, and he was literally handcuffed.
Wow.
For 3 hours waiting for him to be cleared because they were like, there's no way that you're federally getting this.
They don't have Google on their phones?
They held him for
Google
3 hours, and it's in his book. And I haven't finished his book yet, but it's, Melanie, we're definitely behind your cause. You have an amazing person representing you.
Thank you so much,
Mrs. Cheryl Murray Powell is amazing, and we'll do anything in our powers that we could do to make sure to put this on the agenda and make sure that Floridians have the best access for any type of disease, because it's not fair for them to be able to get an opiate and not be able to get medical cannabis when they choose not to take an opiate. And that's the problem, is that people are choosing not to take those drugs.
Yep.
Well, how can we get in touch with you, Mel?
And if you're looking to get in touch with Patients with Patients, you can just go to patientswithpatients.org, which is PATIENCE, like have patience, with patients, which is the actual patient, PIENTS.org. So patientswithpatients.org, you log on, donate, click on our career site if you want to become an advocate. We have advocate classes that going on next month. July 8th is the first session. It's via webinar. So you can definitely link us that way. If you go on Facebook, just type in Patients with Patients of America. Just remember to spell it with the CE in the beginning and a TS at the end.
Awesome.
Same with Twitter. It's PWP of America, and Instagram is Patients with Patients, at Patients with Patients. So link with me. You do everything that you can. If you need to email me directly, my email is patientswithpatients@gmail.com. So let me know, guys. I thank you so much.
We're behind you.
Absolutely. You are supported.
You're listening to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
Welcome to Florida's only cannabis radio program. Welcome to Cannabis Life Radio.
Whoa, don't hurt my feeling, darling. Give me a chance to show you how much I love you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Saw you last night and told you how much I love you. You didn't believe a single word I say. Whoa, whoa. Come today, you gonna believe me. Gonna squeeze your hand, show you I care. Only promise me you'll never hurt me, darling. Whoa, 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 don't hurt my feeling. Don't do that to me now, darling. Whoa, don't hurt my feeling. How could you leave me this way? Whoa, don't hurt my feeling. Wanna show you I care. Oh, don't hurt my feeling. Don't do that to me. Saw you yesterday, you were hiding in a corner. Wanna know why? Didn't believe my eyes that you would come on, yeah. My friends all say that you are shy. I wanna know the reason why. No need for that right now, gonna show you I love you. Only promise me you won't. Oh, don't hurt my feeling. Don't do that to me now, darling. Oh, don't hurt my feeling. Wanna squeeze you and show you I care. Oh, don't hurt my feeling. Oh, don't hurt my feeling. Don't do that to me, yeah. Saw you last night and told you how much I love you. You didn't believe a word I say. Oh, what? Come today, you gonna believe me. Gonna squeeze your hand, show you I care. Only promise me that you never hurt me. Don't do that, girl. Oh, don't hurt my feeling. Don't do that to me, no, darling. Oh, don't hurt my feeling. Oh, don't hurt my feeling. Wanna squeeze you and make you mine. Oh, don't hurt my feeling. Oh, saw you yesterday, you were hiding in a corner. Wanna know why? Didn't believe my eyes that you would come on. My friends all say that you are shy. I wanna know the reason why. No need for that right now, gonna show you I love you. Promise me you won't ever. Oh, don't hurt my feeling.
Welcome to Florida's only cannabis radio program. Welcome to Cannabis Life Radio.
Cannabis Life Radio is on the air.
Hi, Mike.
Barely. I'm Leon Hamilton along with Arby
Yes,
Barroso,
you are.
Cheryl Murray Powell,
Hey there.
and the entire crew.
We have the crew.
Cast of thousands here.
Thousands. And we saw the numbers.
Yes.
Thousands
of listeners and thousands of viewers. This is the talk of the town.
It's only getting better, baby.
Yeah. We're actually spreading all over
now.
the country. Some guy from Arkansas.
We just got off the phone with
Yes,
Daniel.
Daniel
Shout
from
out to you.
Shout
for
out
sure.
to Daniel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Daniel for calling from Arkansas. We had him going here during the break, and we'll definitely be out there, and hopefully all these states and everybody starts getting aboard. But here I go. I got to give out lollipop winners.
Yeah, lollipops.
Lollipops.
Lollipop.
Lollipop.
Lolly, 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 lolly.
That's actually catchy.
boom, boom, boom.
Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, Georgiana Duncan.
Okay.
Woo!
Winner.
Congratulations.
Oz. Oh, man, this one's bad. Chevanier.
He's been a long-time listener from way back
Thanks,
in the day.
Oz. I appreciate it. I don't mean to assassinate your name.
It's all right.
Sandra Elderfield.
Okay.
Zach McCall.
Woohoo, Zach.
Oh, I know this name. Wayne Trammell.
Wayne Trammell?
Trammell. Somewhere close.
Yeah.
Wayne will forgive me.
Yeah.
Robert, maybe. Definitely he'll forgive me. Jeremy Shannon. Patrick Martica, and then Daniel Boas, Brenda Pena. And those winners would be on the list. So if I assassinated your name, I apologize.
It's okay.
I did a pretty good job of doing that.
Yeah, you did all right.
Right?
Yeah, you did
No,
a
I
great
mean about
job.
assassinating the
No,
names.
you did all right. You did okay.
And then Brenda is a
Right.
product
C+.
of the Big Brothers Big Sisters. She mentioned that she actually participated in Big Brothers Big Sisters when she was young.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
it's
really
so important, and I
Yeah.
think that's why our group has really believed in what we're doing, and it was kind of a blessing. Adrian came, and we met Adrian first, and then he took us to Big Brothers Big Sisters. So shout out to Adrian.
Oh yeah, such a nice man.
A really, really nice
Yeah.
guy, very well connected. And we did the Big Brothers Big Sisters. They walked us through there, and it was kind of surprising to us that we would be in there.
Right.
Because they actually understood the CBD part, and it was no THC. So it was, but it was still like surprising to us. It's, they're
It's like
allowing
surreal
us.
that you've
it
gotten
was
so far.
real to
Right.
really walk into that building and then them say, "Well, we want you guys to be part of this." So it was first it was surreal, and at the same time it was. It made me really happy, and I know I made my partners happy, and Jim, Lauren, and Danny, and obviously the whole crew back at Green Roads. Our salespeople, which make our engine work. Our back end, the warehouse that's always creating products and allowing us to continue to move forward. Our guys here from TFC that take their Sundays off to come out here and film us and make sure that we're continuing to spread the word and have everything out there. So it's really a group effort. It's a family.
That's right.
You missed actually the other day. There was another cake. Matt Haim.
Matt's birthday.
Matt's birthday.
I know that was a good cake.
He's doing some Zen stuff out in Arizona. I think he flies
He was
back.
in Sedona. I saw pictures. Love that guy.
I think he put some mud on his nose and across his face.
What?
Yeah, he actually goes there. He's one of our designers, and he just goes
my
there.
goodness.
Yeah.
So definitely happy birthday to him.
No
And
peyote, though,
He's
right?
actually, I don't know.
Oh.
He is 24 years old.
We're not going to swear. We're not swearing for anyone.
Done.
He's 24 years old, so I can't answer that question. I'll find out when he gets back. That's for sure, which will be tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure he had a good trip. He did.
I'm
send
glad
me,
he did that.
He needed it
Yeah.
because honestly, his talent is amazing, and what he's done for the company, and really the direction and all the and not really on the marketing side, but on the designing side, has been it's been spectacular. So
And
the
his
team
humility and his heart.
it's and I didn't like him in the beginning.
How can you not like Matt?
Oh, you didn't know Matt when I knew him when I first
Really?
met him.
Oh, he's so sweet.
Yeah, no, he was not so sweet. He's changed a lot, but his heart's in the right place, and definitely love him because he's really come a long way, and he's been with us almost since the beginning.
He's going to drop some lyrics for us one day.
Oh,
I keep
yeah.
begging him.
You've heard him. He's good.
a master
He's
lyricist.
good.
Yeah.
I just think
talking
he
about.
gets red. He gets really red.
No,
so.
I'm
Drop
all
some
about that.
lyrics.
Maybe for my birthday.
Hey, we got somebody special on the phone.
Excellent.
You
Oh,
know
yeah.
who's on the phone?
We have a call coming in. We
Cheryl
just
and
got
I were
lost in
just-
the Green
we're-
Roads
we were just-
family.
we were just there.
So I think we have Josiah Graham on the phone, the one and only.
Yes, I am here. How's it going?
It's great, Josiah. I'm so glad to have you on the show. Like, we go way back to when we were in law school.
Yes, we sat on a few panel discussions together.
Yep.
For some different civil rights, things going on in the community.
Absolutely, always about the community.
How was Cheryl when she was younger? But let me ask you that, since I don't know her when she was younger. We've known each other almost a year
chameleon.
now. Very professional. On point, keeps us on point and on check all the time.
That's true.
What was Cheryl? How was she?
She was definitely like a leader within, her local, FIU law school and on the board of this and that, and she was always setting up different forums. There was a guy who passed away, and well, he didn't pass away. He was killed by a police officer in Palm Beach. And I remember she set up a forum. His name was Corey Jones.
Yes.
And she set up a forum where we had different heads of the different legal communities, and all of us were on a panel. And I was a prosecutor for Broward County at the time, and she had me on there, and we had a really good discussion. His family was there.
Yes.
And so that's the type of person she is and was. She was always, leading the cause. So that she's definitely a leader. I can say that.
Bless you for that.
And
Thank
she
you.
has not changed.
And a snappy dresser,
she's
too.
absolutely helps us.
Absolutely.
Helps us a lot, and really gets a lot of the things in our agendas. She gets it done. That's for sure. She definitely
Thank you
grinds
so
a lot.
much. I'm just 100%. Honored. And Josiah, I'm so glad that I know you because you are a leader as well. And one thing one thing I've always admired about you, and we go back to Nabalsa and negotiations competition time. We go that far back. So seeing you to become a prosecutor.
Who won? Who won?
We're not going to talk about that.
Who won?
Well, I don't think we ever went against each other.
Oh, right. That's how we're gonna.
That's a good way out. That's a good way out.
I do have 2 trophies, but we never went up against. We did.
She had to rub that in, boy.
Well, we didn't go up against each other.
Well.
Huh?
I have trophies.
And he probably has like mock trial trophies, which I never even attempted to get in that space. And moot court, like I just did negotiations where I could like read the problem for an hour and walk in there. But like Josiah is like amazing in court. Like I tell everyone, I don't go to court. I'm not a litigator. You don't want me in court for you. That's not my space. But Josiah, he went into court like as soon as he got inducted into the bar. I think was it the same day you won your first case? The same day. Walked in
and as a prosecutor.
He is
as a prosecutor.
Yeah.
So Josiah, let me ask you a question, and obviously, where do you see this? Obviously, now as an advocate, coming from somebody who used to prosecute, possible felons or anybody that was carrying a quarter or an ounce of weed, how's that changed mentally? Because we've talked to a lot of law enforcement, ex-judges, and they kind of have some type of regret. How do you feel coming from the law that used to actually put people in prison or in jail for cannabis, now going to being an advocate for this type of plant, knowing that it's medical?
I've always been of the opinion that it should be legal recreationally and specifically, definitely for medical reasons. And when you think about all of the other drugs, if you think about Xanax or Klonopin or Ritalin or the other drugs, or even alcohol that are illegal, and it's so much more dangerous than cannabis and marijuana. It's kind of mind-boggling how marijuana is not legal when you compare it to the other drugs, and the effects, and you compare, when you look at the research and say, okay, who has died from smoking weed?
Nobody.
There's been a lot of sleeping hours recorded.
Nobody.
Laughing.
I blasted. Maybe he ordered some extra pizza.
Totinos.
That's where I like to start the conversation. Like, who has died? All right, so who died from alcohol? There's actual research on that. Or from other drugs, even drugs you're prescribed from your medical doctor. You can overdose and die. But I don't think there's one study that has being conducted that says that marijuana has killed someone. But there is research out there that shows that there is a correlation between people who suffer from depression or anxiety or all types of illnesses and serious disorders, cancer, and when smoking marijuana, how that can alleviate some of their symptoms. So I'm just of the opinion that why not? Why should we hold this against those people? And to take it a step further, why shouldn't it be legal recreationally? Because alcohol is. And alcohol is something that people, if you're a grown person, you're an adult, and you're able to responsibly drink, don't drive when you drink, and if you're a responsible person, then why isn't it legal? You know what I mean?
I agree completely. I was looking at some numbers. The CDC, just to give you an idea, prescription opioid abuse would cost $78.5 billion to taxpayers.
Wow.
Now, that's opiates. That's not talking about heroin or anything else like that. We're talking about opiate abuse as a whole.
Right.
Will cost $78.5 billion by the CDC.
Well, there's 25 people in Palm Beach County every day that overdose on heroin. And 4 of them, between 2 and 4, die every day.
Wow. It's ridiculous. I was watching a video today, literally this morning, on the internet, and this was in Boston. It was a neighborhood, I believe it was Dorchester, Boston, where there was a couple there. Someone knocked on their window. They were both asleep. The woman woke up, but her husband would not wake up. And there was a syringe sitting on her lap, and he overdosed on heroin.
Oh my!
She had, I think it was American or what is it? Narcan. Narcan. She had it in the trunk. Thank God. Ran out, got it, gave him some, and then he threw up, and then he came back.
Wow.
But, and it was just, the phenomenon of just these people overdosing every day from these opiates and all these things, it makes me think, what if those people, perhaps if they smoked marijuana instead, I don't think we would have that burden on the taxpayers for, the 911 and these are emergency responders. I don't think we would have that epidemic that we see today.
I think it's not a lot of people say it's an entry drug. I think it's an out drug. In other words, it's an exit drug for a lot of people because that does take your anxiety coming from somebody that used to have an opiate addiction, coming from that side, knowing that this resolved my issue personally. Yeah. So I see it, and then I was reading a story going on your story. I think there's some part of Boston on Narcan. I think it's either Boston, Arizona, where they actually charge anywhere between $2,500 to $4,500 to nonprofit organizations to be able to help somebody that's ODing, but yet they'll sell it for $20 or $40, and the cost of the drug is $1.
Right.
That's what it ends up costing the pharmaceutical industry is $1. But yet they're willing to fight that, and I think a life that's saved, you never know what that life is going to turn into. So not having that person saved is to me criminal, and that's why I have such a big thing on Big Pharma, is because they're creating drugs that are making the biggest impact in this country, first financially and for families when this whole opiate and heroin, because when they can't afford the opiates they go to heroin, and all this is being created by one source.
Right.
That source needs, people want to put $50 million into Maryland, $27 million into Florida. I forgot how much Ohio and these other states are looking to actually invest on research of why this is happening. There's no research of why this is happening. This is happening because it's coming from one source. Yep. It's coming from a legal drug company. So in other words, you're having a drug company that's owned by a corporate man who's never, he's not a doctor, he's not a scientist, he's corporate. So what he's trying to do is raise money and sell more shares and create more revenue, and that's the problem. I think that's where the problem lies, and I think that's what they really should be researching.
Absolutely.
I agree. And another thing, sometimes you see all this pushback from the legislators, and this is what really confuses me, because you have the conservatives, you have liberals, you have Democrats, but specifically with the conservatives, they always say that certain things, certain rights should be left with the states to decide. They should say we should leave it for the states to decide. Florida decided overwhelmingly in the last vote that marijuana should be legal, medical marijuana, and then within that vote, when I think it was over 60%, almost 70% of
6.4 million people voted, and it was a total of 71%.
And now these same legislators are coming back and trying to push back against the voters and say, you know what, yes, okay, it's legal. You guys said that it's legal. We want it, but you shouldn't be able to smoke it. You should only
craziness.
Right.
Well, and not only that,
it makes no sense.
They just want to have a little bit of control. They're like, we still control something.
Right, but the worst part about what you're talking about is these conservatives, these people that claim to be, first Florida's first flag said, "Leave us alone" on it. Because it's a very libertarian state. It's basically leave us alone. Government, leave us alone. So the first time we get a medical marijuana program started, and these people that are pro-constitution and pro-free market, the first thing they do is set up a socialized medical marijuana.
Monopoly.
It's a socialist system. When you pick the winners and the losers, when you decide, the government decides who wins and who loses in a business, that's socialism. And that's what they're doing. And that's the biggest
100%.
farce out of all of it.
100%, and it's mind-boggling. It's really mind-boggling that they're trying to take away this power from the voters.
Exactly.
From the people.
It's all about
and
power.
negating the will of the voters. Yep. Because I know you so well, I want to talk about that important work that you did with Flocka. And I remember just watching you. You were relentless in getting Flocka.
Sorry.
He worked with Ozzy as well. You were relentless in raising the awareness with the parent generation who had no idea what was going on with the youth, and really eliminating it from the community, working with law enforcement and activists together. And you kind of formed that bridge between those communities that don't traditionally always work together. So tell me about that experience.
So back in about 2014, Broward County was leading the nation in Flocka-related deaths, Flocka-related hospital visits, and being a resident of Fort Lauderdale, I saw something, and I realized that we needed to change that. And there was a guy by the name of Ozzy Tianga.
Yeah, I know Ozzy very, very well. He's a very good, very, very good guy. He'll vouch for the fact that I had my own opiate addiction at the time, and he's a really, really good person. Him and his wife.
Yes, man, beautiful family. I mean, his wife was on, I think, Broward County.
Women of Broward County.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Ozzy's always come to our town halls related to community policing.
He's very involved.
So he was very, very involved.
And when I saw him leading the charge, and one day I was driving to court one day, and I was in a juvenile courtroom. I was a prosecutor, and I saw someone tripping on Flocka. This guy was stripped down to his underwear, bleeding from his hand profusely, running up to cars, punching windows. Eventually, he came up to my window, and he punched my passenger window. I had my girlfriend at the time in the window. He almost broke the window, and he punched it, and we drove off. I called 911. They came there. It took about 6 or 7 officers to restrain him and calm him down. It was at that point where I felt that I should no longer be a spectator, but I should get engaged. Absolutely, I should get engaged. I should get involved. So I set up something. I called up Ozzy, and he was so gracious to spearhead this forum. We went to Dillard High School. We brought different drug court judges. We brought Judge Elijah Williams. He's one of the juvenile judges. We had, before he passed away, before he killed himself, there was a CEO of the Broward Health. His name was Nabil El-Sanati, Dr. Nabil El-Sanati. He was on the panel. We had the state attorney of Broward County, Michael Satz, on the panel. And we also had a Flocka user. We had a guy a Flocka user. In fact, he did Flocka that morning before joining us on the panel. And what was so interesting about that conversation is that his parents were there. And as we were sitting there, his mom yelled out crying, for help. And she said, I understand what you guys are doing, but is there any way you guys could help us? And there was a rehab facility also on the panel. I believe their name was the Florida House Experience. And they were so nice to say, you know what, we'll skip all the red tape and we'll admit him, without any insurance or whatever. And they took him in. And his name was Ryan. And to my understanding, from my knowledge, he's been good ever since.
That's amazing.
That's a victory.
I know Ozzy ended up going, actually, he even went to China.
Wow.
Yes, he went to China. That was one of the biggest things that stopped the influx of Flocka into Broward, because that's where it comes from. It comes from China.
Right.
It's poison. And so they went there with a task force with the DEA and all these federal agents, and they went there, and I mean, you can't find Flocka in Broward County anymore.
God bless.
Yeah.
You cannot find it in Broward County.
Well done.
We went from having 50 deaths a month to 0, or a year, to 0. And, so thank God that worked out, and we don't have that.
We don't have that issue anymore. And
that comes where he's actually, the advocacy comes.
Exactly.
He saw something happen, he reacted, and that's why we've done what we've done. We've seen something and then we react, because there is no reason why somebody should go to jail for a possession for something like this. It's something that I believe in decriminalization. I don't want the drug companies to schedule something and then come out and then make it illegal for anybody else to have. And that's my biggest fight, when people think it should be rescheduled. Right. If you want to reschedule it within the pharmacy companies. They could study whatever they want, but the natural plant itself is natural. That's why people want it, because you could grow it in your backyard like you grow your tomatoes, and you could, treat yourself with your own medicine.
Absolutely right, man. And I believe in the complete decriminalization of marijuana, and I mean, to me, I just look at alcohol. I look at the prohibition movement and all that stuff, and how that didn't work, and how people can responsibly drink alcohol. And alcohol has these long-term effects, and it also has these short-term effects where you can get really drunk and crash cars and kill people. And I look at that, but I don't understand it when you juxtapose that against something as harmless as cannabis.
There's no bad drunks in cannabis.
Right.
No.
We all have those friends that are like bad drunks.
Right.
Yeah. We don't have like a bad
smoker.
Well, in legal states.
Hey man, you ate all my food in my refrigerator.
They're gonna,
Right.
they're gonna
Start fighting
in your house. That's what they're gonna do, and they're gonna sleep all day.
Right. In legal states, violent crime goes down. Domestic violence goes down.
Opiate addiction by 25%
goes down, and opioid addiction goes down. So we're all on the same team. We're wearing the same jerseys. It's just getting the people making the rules at this point to understand. But they'll have to understand, especially before the next election. I definitely wanted to start with all the great work that you're doing, and how you've been such an integral part of our community in progressing issues that affect disadvantaged, undervalued individuals in society. So I admire you so much for that. Always have and always will.
I think we should bring him in. I think because we're running to the bottom of the hour.
Sure.
Josiah, I think honestly, you should bring him into the warehouse, sit down.
Sure.
Now that Big Brothers and Big Brothers,
that would be great.
Big Brothers and Big Sisters is coming in. I think it'd be an amazing opportunity for us to have you, Josiah, come in and actually speak to the inner city kids that will be involved in, and then educate them.
Yeah, he's an awesome role model. I just wanted to let you talk a little bit about your experience on The Bachelorette.
That's what I was going to ask.
ABC's
that's what I've been waiting to.
As one of the bachelors in this season.
I think Leon wants to be in The Bachelorette. He's been like, come on, man,
next season, Leon, next season.
Yeah,
work it out. But Josiah, I wanted you to talk about that experience. It's really exciting for you, but I didn't want that to overshadow your passions and the work that you do in the community.
Absolutely. So I was approached one random day. I was at a restaurant called Grill 401, and a woman came up to me and said, "Hey, are you single? All this and that." And I was like, "Yeah." And then, long story short, within that week, I'm interviewing with producers and everything, and they were impressed with me, and then they flew me out to LA the following week. And I knew nothing about The Bachelor. I mean, I probably saw the show one time.
Yeah, come on.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, right.
I knew.
I don't know anything about that, but where do I sign?
Yeah.
Right.
So when they told, what's so funny? I was so naive. I thought they wanted me to be The Bachelor, the actual guy who was the head guy. So I had no idea until the second phone call. The lady was like, "Oh no, sorry, sweetie, you must have misunderstood the conversation."
You're not the star. You're the supporting cast.
I thought I was the guy.
That's funny.
Like, no, she's like, potentially you could be if you do really well on The Bachelorette, and so that's how that went. But it was amazing.
When did you get the rose?
Every week so far, right?
You've
gotten a rose every week, right?
Every week I've gotten a rose.
You're still on?
And actually,
he's still on.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't even know it was still on.
I'm actually having a watch party tomorrow at 7:30.
I'm coming.
Oh, you know what that means. You know what that means.
Where at?
Downtown Fort Lauderdale. It's called this place called Downtown Cigar Bar. It's right next to the courthouse, right next to this Publix downtown Fort Lauderdale.
I know exactly.
Right where I work. So I'm coming.
Okay, come through at 7:30 and see if I last another episode. I mean, this is episode 5. I've been climbing steady every week. I've gotten a rose every week, and you got to see if we get a rose now.
Wow.
I mean, things are going great.
Hey, we do have 1 million listeners between all our 7 websites. If we need, me and you will talk later on, off the radio and do a little promotion there for you.
I might even vote for you.
How's your fiance?
You
fall for it.
Killed it. Killed it.
I can't give anything. All I can say, man,
that's so exciting.
Life is good right now, man. The show, and once I came back from the show, I joined this firm called Kelly Usall. They're a firm in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, and then we specialize in catastrophic injury and wrongful death. In fact, I have a trial coming up for a wrongful death trial in July. So it's we do some pretty serious litigation.
That's pretty serious work, and we would definitely like to have you down because we will start having inner city projects in the next 4 to 6 months.
And I love to be involved, and I want to be involved in any way. Count on me, guys.
I really appreciate it. You know what? I might come join you tomorrow, Cheryl. See,
you have to come through. It's gonna be.
I'm gonna come through.
And see all the women flirting with him.
Well, I'm a married man, so I can't. I got to step back.
I can be engaged.
I'm pretty sure I'm not as good looking as he is if they picked him to go to the Bachelorette. So
they just don't know that he's engaged yet.
Guarantee you that.
Why are you giving it out on the radio?
I'm just fishing, basically. I'm just fishing. He's not giving anything away. Josiah, you're the best, and I will send you the information for the warehouse. Let me know when you can come, and you've always been fam. So whatever you need, we support you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Josiah. Good luck on The Bachelor.
Bachelorette.
Well, he might be a bachelor later.
That's where his head's at. See, what did I tell you?
He might be a bachelor someday.
We'll see you tomorrow night at what's the name of the spot?
It's called Downtown Cigar Bar.
Downtown Cigar Bar, it is.
Have a good day. Have a great Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Josiah. All right, you are currently tuned to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
How might?
Finally, topical pain relief from hemp is available in Florida. Pain Blaster Extreme Cream. New Pain Blaster Extreme Cream uses powerful essential oils to deliver hemp's natural anti-inflammatory properties directly to the site of pain. Pain Blaster Extreme Cream. New Extreme Cream is available exclusively at Florida Home Grow in Lake Worth and online at extremecreamnow.com. Extremecreamnow.com. That's Pain Blaster Extreme Cream, available at Florida Home Grow in Lake Worth and online at extremecreamnow.com. Extremecreamnow.com. Florida Home Grow is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out our organic hemp oils, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee while checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Home Grow also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try an all-natural lemonade or delicious organic ice cream sandwich. Florida Home Grow is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog Road and the Turnpike. We're Florida's #1 seller of hemp oil products because our stuff works.
But never judge a book, oh no, by only looking at the cover. 'Cause you're my one and only lover, who means the world to me. And it's plain enough to see. People say I'm not the type of man to really be a lover. Oh yeah. People say I'm not the type of man to really be a lover. Oh yeah. But every day I pray, oh yeah, you'll never leave me for another. 'Cause you're my one and only lover. Yeah. Who means the world to me. And it's plain enough to see that you're my lover. Oh yeah, you're my lover. Alright, you're my lover. Oh yeah.
Cannabis is life. Cannabis is medicine. This is Cannabis Life Radio.
Cannabis Life Radio is on the air.
We're back, y'all.
I'm just trying to remind you.
I'm Leon Hamilton along with R.B. Barroso, Cheryl Murray Powell, and a cast of thousands.
Next week we'll be remote. Just want to remind you that.
Where are we going to be?
We're going to be on a... Let me correct my language. Let me take a step back. We're going to be on the balcony. On the balcony for DJ Every Weekend.
Yes.
Overlooking the balcony for the Kevin Hart birthday party.
Super excited about that.
It's serious.
Wow.
Like 1,000
This is something
people.
that I've been invited to, ladies and gentlemen.
You are, absolutely.
Yes.
We'll be working from 4 to 6. So it's going to be overlooking the, we're going to be on the balcony just in case they won't let us on the pool because, there's going to be too many
celebrities.
Too many celebrities and stuff.
But they all know you. Why wouldn't they just let you in?
I'm like
Arby's
a C
the
or
one
D
celebrity that will hang out with us.
You're like a C-list celebrity.
So we're gonna
You're above D-list. You're below B-list.
So what we're looking at right now, honestly, is they didn't give us permission, but I don't like no. So no is not an option.
Well, they're not going to be able to.
We're just going to run up in there.
So we're going to run up in the hotel and do it out of the hotel room for you.
If you do it in the hotel room, they can't do it.
I do it right on the. We'll be right on the balcony.
Yeah.
Trey as Jarrell will be in.
Yeah.
And we might be a little bit dysfunctional, I would say, because it starts on Thursday.
Dysfunction is our function.
And then Friday, and then Saturday night at the club, and then Sunday during the day at the pool. So by the time we're done, and we got to go on the air at 4 o'clock.
You guys are going to be exhausted. I'm going to be the only thing holding this whole thing together. I can tell.
I don't drink much, but I can guarantee you I will be
Mm.
a little bit on tequila that
I'm going to be the only sober one there with Miles.
I'll be all right.
You'll join me on
I'll
tequila?
be feeling nice. Yes.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Oh, yes.
Popping the
Trust
bottles
me.
of Don Julio.
I
got to thank my guys, actually, which I'm going to thank. We went to Atlantic City. They changed me from Patron to Don Julio.
All right.
So that's a shout out to our Green Roads guys. They switched me over.
All right.
You got a lot of people
we
looking
got to
out
talk
for you.
cannabis.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
We
we're
have
on a
special
time.
guests.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Guests.
My bad.
We'll talk about that later. But
I got sidetracked.
I'm super excited. We have the group on from the Marijuana Show. We have Karen and Wendy on the air. I haven't gotten a chance to meet them myself, but I did stop by their booth at the conference in New York, met Thomas, and their team was fantastic. So I was like, I have to learn more. And my understanding is it's kind of like a Shark Tank concept for cannabis. I got a chance to get behind the green screen and do a little something there. I saw a lot of people. They had a lot of traffic. So I don't want to take anything from them. Karen and Wendy, can you share a little bit more about the concept of the Marijuana Show, what you guys are doing, and how you're impacting the industry?
Yeah, totally. First off, thank you. Thank you for having us on. Yeah, it's like you said it exactly. It's like Shark Tank for the cannabis industry.
Love it.
And we've offered $18 million so far. To people, which is really cool. We're still casting for season 3, looking for people that have great ideas.
Awesome.
And then we're shooting, which is cool because then it's on Amazon Prime, so it's seen by a lot of people. And then the press have been really amazing for us. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing. Like 250 million people have been exposed to the show through press.
Wow,
and,
that's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I sent you a million.
How are we not on there?
What? Listen, I sent her like a million pitches. I sent you like a million pitches by email through Thomas Giordinello, who represents you. So yes, we do want to be on your show. However, we want to talk about what you want right now, and how do people watch your show? How do people get
That's
on
my
your
attorney
show?
talking for me too. That's like, well, don't worry about us. We'll get there later. 70 employees later, we're like, we're up to 70 employees. How are we not on that show?
Yeah. That's right. I hope you got our pitches because they're really, really good.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll have to pitch me, and it's on Amazon Prime. So you just go to Amazon Prime, you can look up the Marijuana Show, and then voila, you get to see it, which is cool. And then on our website, themarijuanashow.com. Then basically you can see season 1. And season 1 and season 2 are totally different. And
Good.
season 3, I think it would be the best ever. So, yeah, totally pitch us. And if you have people that are listening, they can pitch us too. We're open to it.
You know what? I'm going to pitch you right now.
Reference your show.
Shoot your best shot, Harvey.
Hurry, though.
Come on now.
I only got 15 minutes. All I got to say is that we're in 5,000 stores and we got 70 employees.
Oh, my goodness.
My next one, I'll pitch you in person. How about that?
Yeah.
I can't take your precious time.
We can't wait to actually see you in person and do a pitch and cover your show and support your growth. But to get to 3 seasons,
that's so important.
It's really impressive.
Impressed.
I got a question for you. What is the coolest invention or innovation that you've come across so far?
It's wild. It's one that didn't get any money, but I love it. It's a cannabis car. It literally is made out of hemp instead of plastic. And as you guys know, anything made of plastic is made of hemp, which is cool.
We actually had that car in our magazine too, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
That was that red car?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So sorry. I swear we just parked for a second. Like somebody just decided they just wanted to talk to us all of a sudden. So
popular, very popular.
It was it happened like wherever we go, right? Fan club.
Yeah.
So no kidding, but we the cannabis car. It was awesome. It looked like a little sports car, like a little Italian sports car, and it just got us on the show to be able to speak to alternative energy, to hemp fuel, to hemp batteries, to all of that, and because the show is really about educating and advocating for legalization of cannabis and hemp and just teaching people, that was really important to us. The weirdest thing I think we ever got was the Tushy Roll, which was like Kush for the tush.
Love it. Classic.
Kush for the tush.
Did they get money?
No, they got us to laugh. So it's a year later, and I still crack up at the seriousness, and it looked just like a Tushy Roll. We're like, okay, there's a little problem right there.
Kush for the tush.
That's so great. So you've obviously reached out a lot of people, and Amazon Prime to actually have this show on there. How were the hurdles to get this show actually on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, it's interesting because we were just on like regular Amazon for a while, and then we started to do really well, and then we got all this press, and we included them in the press, and then just kept after them, and then suddenly it was like, voila, you can be on Amazon Prime, and we negotiated a deal, and and it's cool because there's not a lot of shows out there, in our industry. So it feels really good, and we're stoked because we've also got some shows we're going to put out that are called Legalize It, #LegalizeIt, and it's
nice.
Just stories about CBD, and oh my God, we dealt with the Canamoms because you guys are in Florida.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Canamoms very well.
Mariah, we're very close to them.
So
yes.
Oh, see, so we did that and did some stuff with Dahlia and just all the moms, and then we got on like all the stations in Florida. And really got to talk about, legalizing and about say yes on 2, and it got all over the place in Florida, and it was really helpful in just the conversation. That's all. We're not trying to.
But that's where it starts.
That's
where it started in 2008 when we started in this business, and then obviously CBD started for us in 2012 for Green Roads did. But I was in the THC side completely, and we saw ourselves as a real small fish in a very big lake, and we wanted to see what else we could invent. And you know, my partner Laura, which is a compound pharmacist, came on board, and we just started creating products. And it was her and I, and then we brought in one of our friends, and then we brought in a college kid that now is an owner of the company, Danny Perdek. And next thing you know, we're in 10,000 square feet of warehouse in Florida, you know, and people are looking at us like we're crazy. They're like, and then we met.
That's
Cheryl.
for other reasons.
Well, they got a point on that side.
Trust me.
I mean, listen, you got to be crazy to be successful.
Yeah. That's it. A little bit of madness.
So a little bit of madness always works.
When are you coming down here?
Anyone who's a visionary.
When are you coming to Florida?
We'll be down in Florida. Yeah, we'll be down there in September, like mid-September. We definitely should hook it up with you guys.
We would love that.
We would love to have you. Absolutely.
Please do.
Absolutely come by. And
that'd be cool.
Our doors are open to you, and then you can see everything that we got going on, our products, everything. Meet the people that are there. Our diversity is huge.
Yes.
We got a lot of FSU kids. Almost all our employees are, graduates from either FIU, UF, FAU, FSU. So it's a really good, great talent, great family atmosphere.
She could come by the radio show too, Arby.
I don't think she wants to see you.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, you clearly you have an open invite to the radio show and to the warehouse.
That's a really good idea, Leon.
Thanks. Every once in a while, I come up with that.
What's your next conference? Which conference can we see you at? What's your next?
We'll be at the LA one and the Boston one that the same people are putting on. Which we like them. I think they do a really good job, and they're really cool, and so we just feel honored. And again, that same thing of just wanting to educate people. People they don't get it. They're scared. They're fearful. And it's like, okay, they're fine with OxyContin because they just don't know, right? They think CBD is like, we forget
it's radioactive.
I mean, it's
all the time.
But that's where it starts. It starts with the doctors, and it starts with shows like this.
Right.
Shows like this that kind of open up their eyes and like, what is this show about?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And once they get hooked on it, they realize that it's not as bad as the government or anybody else made it seem.
People,
and
like,
it's helping people.
The work that's being done at with children, the Joe DiMaggio's Children's Hospital, and it's just straight CBD regimens that they're being placed on, and their cancer tumors are shrinking and being broken up, and better quality of life. So we thank you for being supportive of CBD and evangelizing that. No, it's really good stuff, and it's natural, and it's helping people. We appreciate that so much.
Full plant all the way. Full plant all the way.
Totally. So maybe. When we do our next film, which is, we'll do another legalized, because it got really popular. We were really lucky it went viral and stuff, and that was awesome. It was unexpected, and as you guys know, you can't boost hardly on Facebook. It's like damn.
I know. They put the red flag on me a long time ago.
I got one yesterday.
Yeah, us too. We got ousted. That's why it's called, at MJ Reality Show, because we used to be the marijuana show, and it was like, shit, nothing could get through.
Nothing.
So I think the point is that, for all of us to help each other and support each other and help each other get our messages out. So when we come, if you want, I'd love to shoot some stories around, what you're up to with the kids. And stuff,
absolutely.
Because that's part of Legalize It too.
I mean, we just ended up having our launch party through our wellness brand, because we have obviously our world brand is in 5,000 stores, but it's more geared towards the head shops, smoke shops. It's kind of where we started, because that's the only people that we could really educate in the beginning. And now we've launched our wellness brand, and we got a plethora of doctors. We're in 250 doctors' offices across the country right now. We just started on February 1st, and Florida doctor-wise,
it's growing. It's like fire.
Yeah, and we have Dr. Lynn Meister, which is the head oncologist and hematologist of Joe D. We sponsor over 22 families from there. So
we can send you footage from our documentary.
Oh yeah, that would be really good. Because actually, one of the number one.
I'd love to talk with you guys.
The number one provider
number one.
for True Leaf actually is Dr. Michelle Weiner. She's one of the ones that provides and writes prescriptions. So she also works with us. She's actually in our documentary talking about people that want that type of alternative.
Good.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's an amazing person.
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, I remember her name because of Wiener, and so like my little brain just smiled when I heard the name. Like,
That's great.
I'm glad you said that, not me.
Suddenly I became like 3 and had to giggle.
Me and Leon are looking at each other like, I'm not saying that.
But you can. We keep the guys in line, but you can.
That's what keeps us in line. Actually, out of line.
But yeah,
silly.
she's phenomenal physician, and she, we just did the American Cancer Society fundraiser this week. It's called Jail and Bail, and we have footage from that as well, where you go to this pretend jail and then you raise money to get bailed out, and she did that for Green Roads because we're just such strong partners with her. And then we had Laura Fuentes as well as.
And then Shervin
DJ.
Jones was going to join us,
Absolutely.
but he went to session though. I know he's working a lot.
Yeah, so we had a state representative who was all on board with our cause because he sees how it helps people, which is
I love your show. I'm probably gonna get stuck staying up and get to work into the office late tomorrow because I'm definitely gonna be. I'm gonna go through season 1 and
you're
season 2.
Binge watch it.
I'm gonna binge it for
Binge
sure.
watch the marijuana show.
Why don't we? I mean, seriously, we should just like get on the phone maybe tomorrow or something. And I'm so sorry that I literally have to go to this.
No, that's fine because we have like 3 minutes left.
Yeah. That's perfect. Consider it done. Let's do a call tomorrow.
We'll do
I'll
a call
coordinate
tomorrow.
it. Thank you for your time
Thank
and
you
for what you're
time.
doing.
Sign some autographs for us, and we'll
Yeah.
definitely talk tomorrow.
Thanks for doing cool. Okay, cool. Thanks for doing all that you guys do. It's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank
goodbye
you so
for
much.
right now.
All
Hooray,
right.
community theaters. Bye.
Great.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
All right.
Well, what are you gonna do for
Got
the
a
next
couple
3
minutes.
minutes?
You know what I got? In my hand.
I dare you to do some push-ups.
I got. You daring me to do push-ups?
Absolutely.
Seriously, bro.
Like he
No.
could do.
Dude, I can totally do push. Are you crazy?
How many can you do?
100.
You're nuts.
I can do 100 push-ups.
No, you can maybe in between like 5 hours.
Oh my goodness. Too much.
You know what?
Out of time.
After this show,
check,
people that are
fitness
watching us
check.
on Facebook Live,
Yeah.
I'll bet you.
Okay. How about I can do 50?
Right.
You don't believe I can do 50?
100.
Listen, I'm putting my money on Leon.
He's saying he went from 100 to 50.
Yeah, but if I do 100, you're going to be the person
He
that's
went
going to
from
say.
100 to 50. He cut it in half.
Listen, let's go back into the beginning. I can do 100 push-ups, but as soon as I do 100 push-ups, you're going to be saying, oh, no, but look at his nose. It's not touching the ground. Look at it. He's not going all the way.
How about this?
need
I won't even look at
specifications.
you do them. I'll trust the rest of the clique that's in here to do it. And I won't go 6 inch.
I think you're trying to change the subject because you don't want me to read.
I don't want you to read my
Arby's
mail sack.
Yes.
I don't want to hear nothing about my mail sack.
That's what this whole thing was.
Because you wanted to
change-
talk about my mail sack.
That's the Arby's mail sack theme music.
I know what's coming.
All right, you ready?
All right, let's go for my first sack.
Oh my goodness. Let's do this one. I don't get pain relief from vaping. This is from Don in West Palm Beach. I only get relief from smoking and some edibles. Am I crazy?
No, absolutely not crazy. Everybody's it's patient specific.
Right.
Is what I look at it. Everybody ingest
Has different
and consume
reactions.
it differently.
Right. Is there a difference between the absorption of CBD sublinguals and capsules? This is Miguel from Lake Worth.
I'm not a pharmacist or a doctor, but there is it does dissolve when you ingest it or any way like that. The best form of delivery system, believe it or not, and we can't sell this at typical stores, it's doctors that are asking us for it, is up to
Yeah, so suppositories work really well.
Suppository.
Dr.
Best
Joseph
delivery
Rosado
system.
has said that the sublingual as well as vaping are very highly effective as well, and that's coming straight from a doctor.
Yeah.
But suppositories
you got
are
more
extremely,
absorption down there.
Well, that was a very
I told you you didn't want to hear
mail
about.
sack.
I told you you didn't want to hear about my mail sack.
I learned more from your mail sack today than I have in the past 20 weeks.
We're just going to turn it up next week. That'll be be live at the Kevin
next
Hart
week
party.
is serious.
South Beach.
DJ every weekend.
Next week is serious.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
I don't know if I'm going to be there all like in full. I mean,
we got you.
I'll be there.
We got you. We're going to make sure you represent all day.
It's going to be a problem.
We got you, Arby. Don't worry about it.
And Leon's coming down south again.
Coming down south.
Yeah.
Hot mic.
Hot mic.
Hot mic, baby.
I'm going to close this thing out right now.
Are
and you
you?
guys continue to talk.
Until your push-ups. Till your push-ups.
He ain't doing no push-ups.
You are currently tuned to Cannabis Life Radio, brought
And
to
you're
you
still
by
tuned to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by
Green Road Swirl.
Yes, we are.
Bye.
Peace.
Later.
CBD, and I had seen Dr. Gupta's show. So I went to Colorado and I signed him up. I changed my address. I was going to move in with a friend. So that was my first step. In that journey, I met other parents that were struggling as well as I was, and we met in Tallahassee when we were advocating for medical cannabis. And that's how the group Cannamons was formed. That's how we became founders of Cannamons, because there were parents fighting for medication, for better access to our children, to have an alternative medication for them, besides all the medications that they were giving us in the hospital. My son tried everything for Dravet, and we didn't see any results.
Right.
So then with time, we went to California, we saw a doctor there, and we started treating our children there. I started treating Bruno he had been on CBD, and then we added THC and THCA because he was having too many seizures. And I can honestly say that for the first time, I saw one afternoon with no seizures. From 300 a day, I had one afternoon, half of the day with no seizures.
So he went from 300 seizures in a day to a single seizure or zero seizures in a half a day period after the use of cannabis.
Yeah.
I remember hearing you speak one time, and you mentioned there was a time when Bruno was put on Marinol. Can you tell me about that experience?
Oh, my goodness. So when I came back from California, my doctor knew that Bruno was doing well with the oil. So to keep us under the safe legal form of cannabis, they put him on Marinol. So I gave him Marinol, and I will say my child doesn't speak, he doesn't communicate much, but his only way of communicating is crying, and he's not one to cry unless he's in pain or something's really bothering him.
Right.
He was crying a lot, he was crying nonstop. I wasn't sure why. And I said, it has to be Marinol, because I had never seen him cry this much. And I told the doctor, he's like, okay, put his dose. And instead of putting his dose, I just replaced it with the oil. I said, I'm not, I cannot put him through this. I'm not putting any dose. I'm just taking it away from him because it was making him very uncomfortable. It would make him cry. And when I spoke to a parent, her description of someone that used Marinol scared me so much that I took him off of it right away. She told me that the patient that had used Marinol felt like he was going on a roller coaster, 100 miles per hour, going down a roller coaster. Really fast.
Yeah, it sounds like a horrible experience for a child where they're crying excessively and screaming based on being prescribed Marinol. And I know I heard you speak before, and you mentioned that Marinol is the THC without the CBD to kind of balance it out, and it was really a bad experience. Yeah. I appreciate you being you're so on top of what the current issues are. You're so on top of your son's care. You have a daughter as well, and you're a good mom to both of your children. So, I watch what you do. I want you to know that you're recognized. We support you. We're with you. I know you've spent a lot of the past 2 months in the hospital. and you just have to be strong and know that people are here and supporting you.
And I'm happy. I'm happy to say though that at one point we had no seizures. Like with the use of cannabis, his seizures went from 1 to 3 a week. And that was a huge change for his body. Like, he became more active. He's walking.
Right.
He's not walking on his own, but he's walking with support. He's sitting up on his own. He's actually crawling. He's vocalizing by screaming. So people are aware that he's there because you can hear his mouth. You can hear his voice. And it's not words, but just his way of communicating. And he's touching everything. He's very aware of his surroundings. So that I'm happy to say that if it wasn't because of the use of cannabis and with the help of the doctor removing most of his medication, it helped tremendously in his life. So he's only taking 2 seizure meds right now. And that has helped him, it's just 2 seizure meds and his cannabis. It's his daily intake. And it has helped him so much in his daily life that you see a different child, even when it comes to taking the medication. You see a different child. So I'm very proud to say that, thank God for cannabis, because I wouldn't have seen that result if it wasn't because of his changes in meds.
And he went from,
right?
I've heard you say that he's gone from basically almost a vegetative state to with this hyper awareness and sensitivity to patterns and things like that. And the recliner story always stayed with me, where before he was basically non-mobile, and then it was a real victory for you when he was able to pull the lever on the recliner and push the recliner. Goodness. I heard the joy in your voice when you told that story. I don't know if you want to share more on that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was able to leave him just laying on the recliner because I knew he was going to be immobile, that he was not going to be falling because he was not in danger, because he was just like a vegetable. And when time progressed, now if I leave him in the recliner with one of the chairs attached to him so he doesn't fall, but somehow he manages to move that chair like the little bumblefoot, and he pushes that lever. He just wants to play with that lever, and then the thing goes up, the recliner goes up, and then I have to be watching because he can fall. And one time I turned around for a minute, and he's reaching down, and he's like so strong now that when he reached down, he almost fell on that chair, and I had to catch him, and I'm like, you cannot leave him alone for a second.
Right.
Because he's so active right now that he explores everything. So the fact that he does that to the recliner, it's a huge step for us. The fact that if I go to the store with him and I go through the shoe section, he grabs all the shoes and just throws them on the floor.
Right. And
we're
that's such a long way from where it was.
It up. Yeah. It's like he's grabbing and touching everything. And he needed that because he didn't do that before. Before, I could just leave him unattended for a second, and he would just still be there, like a vegetable, just laying there. Now I can't do that at all. I have to be watching him. Someone has to be holding him because I can't even turn around because he will be somewhere else.
Right.
So, and he's crawling, and he couldn't do that before. So he knows what he wants now. He sees a toy, he'll crawl to that toy to get it.
That's
so it's
awesome.
a huge difference that it has made in his life. And one thing that I need my attorney here, because I know that in the hospitals we're not allowed to, give the medications to them when they're hospitalized. So I feel that he got worse at one point because we had him on the camera. So I didn't give him any of his oil. So I feel that he got worse, and even the doctor acknowledged it.
I understand. That's a huge issue. Even assisted living facilities, hospitals, nursing homes, where the caretakers and nurses, they won't give the cannabis oil to the patients, and their conditions worsen while they're supposed to be there to improve their state.
And I feel that I'm still in the ICU because of that. So I just told the doctor, like, honestly, just, get him to the point that I can actually leave the hospital and I can work with his doctors, and just work on his oil and we'll continue with the medications that he's on. And the doctor acknowledged that too. He's like, I feel like he got worse.
Yes.
Now that we stopped the oil. So he even knows that.
Well,
so we're working on that.
Beautiful, and it's unfortunate that you have to go through that and Bruno has to go through that. But the work that you're doing, one, it encourages other moms and other families. But you're a pioneer, and you pushing back and educating the hospital staff and the hospital administration about how your child's getting worse in a hospital environment because he can't have access to the cannabis oil. That is going to make a difference long term, and I want them to change it soon so that Bruno won't have that situation if he is hospitalized where he can't get access to his medicine. So thank you, Giselle.
Yeah, no,
we appreciate you so much.
It's been a little crazy, but we're working on that.
We're going to keep pushing and keep fighting. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Giselle.
Of course. Thank you.
And see you in the trenches.
Out on the battlefield.
All
right. You are currently tuned to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
Florida Home Grow is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out our organic hemp oils, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee while checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Home Grow also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try an all-natural lemonade or delicious organic ice cream sandwich. Florida Home Grow is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog Road and the Turnpike. We are Florida's #1 seller of hemp oil products because our stuff works. Finally, topical pain relief from hemp is available in Florida. Pain Blaster Extreme Cream. New Pain Blaster Extreme Cream uses powerful essential oils to deliver hemp's natural anti-inflammatory properties directly to the site of pain. Pain Blaster Extreme Cream. New Extreme Cream is available exclusively at Florida Home Grow in Lake Worth and online at extremecreamnow.com. Extremecreamnow.com. That's Pain Blaster Extreme Cream, available at Florida Home Grow in Lake Worth and online at extremecreamnow.com. extremecreamnow.com.
This is Florida's most unique radio program. This is Cannabis Life Radio.
Tell me what to think about Christ. Made their sacrifice now. Tell me what to think about equal rights for all, everywhere. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Separated. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all in every way. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one.
If you need cannabis as medicine, you need Cannabis Life Radio.
Cannabis Life Radio is live. It's on the air, along with Cheryl Murray Powell.
Yes, missing Arby.
Arby is busy.
Yes, he is. He's in graduation mode with his wonderful daughter who's graduating high school. So,
and speaking of busy, our Facebook live feed is very, very busy. We're giving away Green Road CBD lollipops, and I got a list of winners here. Are you ready for this? You ready?
Drum roll.
That calls for a response.
Woo!
Okay. Thank you. Brian Mitchell. You want a lollipop?
You're a little cranky today.
I am a little cranky now. Hush. I'm not really cranky. I'm in the best mood I've been in a long time, actually. Brian Mitchell, he won a lollipop. The person's name
Brian
here.
Mitchell, woohoo!
Exile Darkness.
Exile Darkness.
Yeah, that's actually a person's name.
You're going to get a CBD lollipop.
Yeah. Jacqueline Locke.
Jackie. I've known Jackie for 20 years.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
we worked together at T-Mobile years and years ago.
Wow, congratulations, Jackie. Also, Josh Kent, Marsha Henderson, Blake Bass, or Bass, Debbie Lay, Carlos Perez, Pam Fowler, and Karen Browner all won Green Road CBD lollipops from our C Life Radio.
Congratulations to our winners.
Facebook feed. Yes,
well done.
Very, very, very.
We have our marketing team's going to be reaching out to you individually so they can send them out. Yeah. Some people in the feed have already received their lollipops and they're saying how yummy they are.
Right, and you could also ask questions in the Facebook live feed, and then the questions are handed to me. I put them in this. Do you know what this is that I have in my hand right here? You know what I have in my hand right here? It's Arby's mail sack. I have Arby's mail sack in my hand.
Okay.
And that's where
does it get renamed when Arby's not here?
No, it's always going to be Arby's mail sack. You cannot change the name of it. No, that's part of my contract. That's why it's called that.
Okay, no doubt.
That's the only way I would do the show is if it was called Arby's mail sack.
What questions do they have, Leon?
I got a couple of questions here. Want to do them now?
Yeah, let's do two.
All right,
one question.
One here. One question.
And then the doc.
This one is CBD legal in every state.
Okay, that's a really interesting question. So, and it's a complicated question as far as the legalization of CBD. CBD is legal. Green Road CBD is legal. So I can't speak to other brands based on who knows what their contents are, whether they're tested, et cetera, and so on. Green Road's CBD is legal. We're part of the Farm Bill.
But technically, as federally, the last time the federal government ever approached this, where they made a law, it's legal in all 50 states. It's just not legal to technically
the
to transport it across.
2014 Farm Bill is what identifies and defines what is industrial hemp and defines it as being hemp with less than 0.3%. So it's a very long, drawn out answer to the question. But yes, it's legal. There are some states that are resistant, some law enforcement departments where they've been resistant to having CBD. We've seen
because
few
it's so
struggles.
Dangerous. Yes,
we've seen some struggles in Alabama.
Let's put an end to this.
And a couple other states, but we work directly with law enforcement, so we're working to educate and make sure that it can be available in all 50 states. Currently, Green Road CBD is being sold in 44 states in 5,000 locations across the country.
Yeah. By the way, that question was from Rilla Gonzalez. Good question.
Thank you, Rilla. Thank you.
We got somebody on the phone. Correct?
We do. We have Dr. Michael McKenzie. I've spoken to him a few times over the past year or so, and he is an advocate for legalization. He's a
kind of doctor.
He's a doctor who stays in the know, and he wants to do the best thing for his patients, and definitely understands how we need to attack the opioid addiction situation. Dr. McKenzie, are you on?
Yes. Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Doc.
Good. Happy Sunday to everybody.
Happy Sunday. And I know you had called, like in our earlier shows, you tried to call in and we weren't taking callers at that time, but we really want to hear your views. We're Facebook friends, so I know you have a perspective on all things cannabis related. What are your thoughts on the special session? Let's start there and kind of work back to your experience.
Well, I know everybody is wanting for a special session to make the rules that were associated with the implementation of Amendment 2. However, when I look at the baseline intent of the members of the House and Senate, it worries me because as they're making the rules, which thank God it died in the legislative session, these rules had a number of poison pills in there.
Yeah.
That would have made it very difficult for doctors. For example, adopting certain things that the Mel and Betty Sembler and Calvina Faye crew wanted, which would have been completely unreasonable, to establishing like an oversight review board to look at practice patterns of people who write it. So a patient can theoretically have their recommendation invalidated if it doesn't meet the criteria of this review panel.
Yeah.
Right.
And who would make up the review panel? Is it certified physicians trained in cannabinoid therapeutics? No.
It's just another way for them to make more rules to slow this whole thing down. That's what they're doing.
Right. And so, you see, before Amendment 2 passed, those people, including physicians that were anti-Amendment 2, they were using the logic as well. If you make something an amendment, then it cannot be changed. It's there permanently, and the legislature can't do nothing about it. Why not let the legislature make the rules and make them, gradual in, as it goes along? But we've already seen what happens when you let the legislature make the rules. They're not bound by any benevolence for patients. They're there to line their own pockets with lobbyist money, whether it comes from the Drug-Free America Foundation or the rehab industry, which makes a lot of money off people addicted to narcotics.
Yep.
And, and then the prison industry, for example, Corrections Corporations of America and Geo Group. These are private corporations, publicly traded, that benefit from incarceration. So I don't trust the legislature to make the rules that'll benefit the people, which is why I supported Amendment 2.
Do you trust the Department of Health?
Well, unfortunately, their only option.
Yeah.
And do you
have more confidence in the Department of Health than the legislature?
That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Pretty sad state of affairs when you trust Rick Scott's appointees more than you trust elected officials.
No, exactly. And and what's even more disturbing is that we have 3 physicians in the state house, and none of them have even taken the course or have even bothered to learn about cannabis therapeutics, so that they can advocate properly.
Yeah, who are they again?
Was it Julio Rodriguez?
Yes.
Pigman. And there's a third person.
Pigman.
Name escapes me right now.
Okay.
I know
in the opposition?
Yeah, who is it? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Julio Rodriguez.
Went
on the floor and said that cannabis is, medical marijuana is a myth.
Right.
In the
it's not
spirit
medicine.
of sarsaparilla.
I heard that.
And there's other physicians in town, like, for example, Dr. Barry Gordon, who's in his district, actually, who has even offered to pay for him to take the course. And none of the doctors have responded to his offer.
Yeah. I wonder why. What do you think it is?
I don't know.
How do we penetrate and get these physicians who are hesitant? How do we get them on board? What do we need? What argument do we need to persuade them?
Actually, I would say just educating them one at a time. Like I said, right now, I've given lectures to groups of physicians already. I've, interacted one-on-one with a lot of them and, try to convince them. And I'm actually giving a talk next week at the regional conference of the NMA in Memphis. The NMA is the largest national organization of black physicians, and they're having a regional conference in Memphis this Friday, and I'll be giving a talk about medical cannabis to that whole group this Friday. So
is this the first time that audience has had on their agenda a medical cannabis discussion?
Yes.
Okay. Did you promote that, or did they find you? Did you present?
I promoted it.
Oh, congratulations to you. So you said, I have a proposal idea, and you were probably the only one who wanted to present on cannabis because a lot of people are still uneducated about it, and then they accepted your submission. I congratulate you for that. That's taking the initiative.
Yeah, I started off with my local NMA chapter, the James Wilson Bridges Medical Society down here, And then when they hosted the statewide meeting, I gave my talk there for the first time. And then so now, you know, I want to give it at the regional conference. Now, what would be great would be if I was able to give it at the national NMA conference. That would be even better.
Well, we hope that you get to give it at the national conference, because when you give these speeches, what's the takeaway? What are the next steps as you see it? Is it just, all right, now they have the knowledge, they can go back and inquire on their own, or is there like a call to action?
Usually I tell the group to, you know, go do your reading, do your research, because, you know, my talk is not that comprehensive where it's going to cover all the bases, you know, even though my full talk can last up to an hour and a half. You know, the people, even if you take the 8-hour course that the state of Florida has, you still got to do much more reading on your own. And there are a few good medical textbooks about cannabis that doctors can purchase and read and get up to speed on things.
What are your favorite medical cannabis texts?
There's a book called, let me see if I have it here.
The Cannabis Handbook, is that the one?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I've seen that one. That's a great one. Dr. Joseph Rosado recommended that one as well.
Yes.
Okay.
It is very good. And also, the review articles that you find in journals, in the medical journals, are very, very good. For example, when you want to know, okay, what is the mechanism by which cannabis can serve as an immune suppressant in autoimmune disorders like Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, and things like that. You know, there are journal articles that go over all that stuff. You know, what is the mechanism by which cannabis affects cancer cells? You know, when you read the articles published by Sean McAllister or Christina Sanchez, you know, those are great articles that go into detail, in depth, as to the mechanism of how cannabis does what it does.
Excellent. Do you see an expansion to nurse practitioners anytime soon? Because currently MDs and DOs are the only ones that can refer or recommend for cannabis after attending the training. Do you see that that'll open up to nurse practitioners?
I'm sure it will, because as with anything that occurs in medicine, you know, the mid-levels like the nurse practitioners and PAs, they usually follow afterwards. So I wouldn't be surprised if nurse practitioners get involved. But as it stands right now, there's really nobody giving the nurse practitioners any instruction on cannabis and cannabinoid therapeutics.
Yeah.
You know, although I'll speak to any group. You know, if they wanted me to give a lecture on cannabis therapeutics to nurse practitioners or PAs, whatever, I'm open to that. I have no problem with that. Because the fact of the matter is, you know, nurse practitioners are a large part of the medical community, and they are going to be encountering patients that are receiving cannabis. So I'd rather have somebody know about it versus going into a situation not knowing about it.
How long have you been recommending in your particular practice?
I took the course in 2015, actually.
Beautiful.
When it first rolled out.
Excellent.
But, you know, as you know, at that time, there was no availability of product yet, you know, for a while. So I did my reading and, you know, just research more into it. I think that what initially triggered my interest was when I was watching Sanjay Gupta's weed documentary.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
You know, because before that, I mean, even to now, our only option was Marinol. And Marinol, as you know, is very expensive, and it's a synthetic cannabinoid.
Yeah.
We were just speaking to a canna mom about Marinol and the effect on her son and how he would just cry all the time as a result of being on Marinol because there's no CBD to balance it out.
Yeah. You know, and even, you know, when the medicine, what's it called? Epidiolex is probably going to get released later on this year, you know, as FDA-approved drug. Don't expect it to be cheap.
Right.
You know?
And that's a challenge, and that's why a lot of groups are promoting home grow for cannabis as a long-term strategy, because the cost of medicine puts certain communities at a disadvantage.
Exactly.
Do you have any like success stories out of your out of your practice as far as how using cannabis as an alternative to opioids has been successful for your patients?
Well, those patients are starting to come in more, and I'm able to, for example, I had one patient who was on both like a long-acting morphine and Percocet for breakthrough pain, and I put on a regimen with both CBD and THC in there, and one good breakthrough that we had was we was able to get her off the long-acting medications, and she's just now using only the short-acting opioids for pain control.
Good.
So our next step is to try to see if we can get her off the short acting as well. But again, with cannabinoid products, it is a constant trial and error, and you've got to try different strains and sometimes different dose protocols, and everybody's different. Just on a quick note about that, just to let you know, recently there's been some talk in the news about using cannabis extracts to help treat opioid addiction.
Yes, we speak about it a lot on the show.
We talk about it every week.
Yep.
Yeah, our beloved Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, basically went on TV and said, using cannabis to treat opium addiction, give me a break.
Well,
what he doesn't realize is that the very concept of using cannabinoids to treat opiate addiction is not new.
Right.
In fact, the oldest journal article that talked about using cannabis extracts to treat opium addiction was by Dr. E.A. Birch in the Lancet, dated 1889.
There you go.
There you have it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I have a copy
of that article.
Good.
And so it's not that far off of a concept. But again, the rehab industry, which loves to use Suboxone, Subutex, and methadone, all of which can be abused, when they're getting $20,000 per bed space in a rehab facility,
right.
They don't want to knock out their bread and butter.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Money's determining a lot.
Money.
Yeah, it's determining.
And we don't refer to him as Jeff Sessions. We refer to him as Yosemite Sam. That's what we talk about. That's what we say.
So, or General Buford Cornpone or something like that,
Yeah.
So
varmints ain't gonna get your marijuana.
Dr. McKenzie, what are you anticipating in the future for yourself as a physician? How are you going to take your pioneering strategy and cascade it throughout your profession?
I would like to get together with some other like-minded physicians and actually start doing some clinical trials.
Okay.
There you go.
We have that's a great idea, and we have we have the offer open for donation of CBD for clinical trials as well. If you have an interest in doing both CBD and the THC hybrid products.
Oh, exactly. Oh, and speaking of which, another quote poison pill that was in the legislature. And I view it as a poison pill for this reason. It was this allocation and creation of a research center at the Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa.
Yes.
Which sounds great superficially. But when you go deeper into this, you realize, first of all, none of those doctors there are trained in cannabis therapeutics.
Yeah.
Right.
All right? Beyond Marinol. Number two, none of them want to do anything with regarding cannabis because they don't want to jeopardize their federal funding.
Right.
Mixing with a Class 1 substance. So how are you going to establish something in an institution where there is no real desire or interest?
Why are you putting an appropriation out there where they don't want to do the research when there are organizations that are genuinely interested in the research? They just may not have the lobbying capabilities of other organizations.
Right. So, to me, the way they set it up to make it artificially and superficially appear good, but the real intention was to not have this program go anywhere.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't trust the legislature at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always talk about it on the show. We say for them, a delay is a win.
Right.
They know in the long game it's going to be overturned. What they're proposing is going to be found unconstitutional. However, for the people that have been lobbying the legislature on one side, they're lobbyists on both sides, but on the keep things status quo, a delay is a win as long as they can maintain the monopoly and keep that going. But the ones who hang in the balance are actually the patients.
Right. And you notice that none of the, your hardcore opponents who pump a lot of money into this, like your Calvina Fays, Mel Betty Sembler, or Julio Rodriguez, you'll never see any of them actually openly debate someone like Dr. Gordon or myself on the issue of cannabis, because they know they can't run from the facts.
Right. They're hiding.
I love it. Well, we want to do some more work with you, Dr. McKenzie. Yeah. We thank you for your commitment to the movement and to progressing education about cannabis. So thank you so much for coming on today, and we'll definitely stay in touch with you, and we appreciate you listening to the show every week as well.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys next week.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
Yes, at the SECC conference. I'll see you there.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Y'all have a good day. Y'all be blessed. Be well.
Yes.
Thank you,
the
Doctor.
same to you, Doctor.
So what do you, did everybody get mad at me because I said Jeff Sessions reminds me of Yosemite Sam?
No one, I don't think anyone was mad. I just you said we referred to him, and I was I don't remember.
I meant we as in me. Okay. How about Granny Clampett?
Understood.
From Beverly Hillbillies. Is that more appropriate?
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Granny Clampett is?
I don't. But definitely a lot of good things coming on. We're going to try to have a quick call with Carmela Camacho when we come back.
You want to take a break real quick? Is that what you want to do? You're in charge today, girl.
Oh, excellent. I like being
in charge. You want to take a break real quick?
I definitely want to take a break, and then we'll come back with
a phone call? Okay. Right. You are currently tuned to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
Florida Home Grow is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out our organic hemp oils, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee while checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Home Grow also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try an all-natural lemonade or delicious organic ice cream sandwich. Florida Home Grow is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog Road and the Turnpike. We are Florida's #1 seller of hemp oil products because our stuff works. Finally, topical pain relief from hemp is available in Florida. Pain Blaster Extreme Cream. New Pain Blaster Extreme Cream uses powerful essential oils to deliver hemp's natural anti-inflammatory properties directly to the site of pain. Pain Blaster Extreme Cream. New Extreme Cream is available exclusively at Florida Home Grow in Lake Worth and online at extremecreamnow.com. Extremecreamnow.com. That's Pain Blaster Extreme Cream, available at Florida Home Grow in Lake Worth and online at extremecreamnow.com. extremecreamnow.com.
We bring you the latest cannabis news. No filter. We are Cannabis Life Radio.
Excuse me, pretty lady. Nice to meet you. My name is Jamire. Ever since you moved right around my way, my eyes been blessed by your beauty, girl. And I just wanna know, do you have a man? Shawty, for you and I have plans. Here's my number, let me know if you're interested. There's a girl in my neighborhood. Everybody wants her and I want her too. But I too much so I'm too much watch it. I'm trying to get to her, but everybody's watching. There's a girl in my neighborhood. Everybody wants her, but me want her too. But I too much so I'm too much watch it. I'm trying to get to her, but everybody's watching. Aye. Whenever she walks by, everybody with inside. All me dubs, them want to get a piece of her pie. My friends, them broke them neck to see where she's walking. The crew wanna know, who is she talking to on a mobile phone. So I went into the market and bought a dozen Uzis. Walked up to her and said, baby, all this. Everybody eyes pop out. There's a girl in my neighborhood. Everybody wants her.
Cannabis Life Radio is live on the air. Leon Hamilton here along with Cheryl Murray Powell.
Hello.
Hello. We have phone calls. We have
Carmela on the phone. Carmela's done a lot of advocacy rate work out in Colorado, and we want to hear from her and some of her experiences. Carmela?
Yes.
Carmela.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very well, thank you. I wanted to thank your whole team just right off the bat for your dedication, working on a Sunday, doing these shows. It's great, and we are so privileged to be on.
Oh, awesome.
We
Thanks.
appreciate you. Tell us about your experience in advocacy for, I know, patients for sure.
Yeah, so I started in 2010. I have a high-functioning autism son, and in 2010 I met Miko Perez, whose son is severely autistic, and heard her story. And from there, I kind of just started snowballing into, I became best friends with LV Musica, who is a federal patient, as I'm sure you know, in Florida. Yep. She's not in Florida now, but she won her case in Florida, so I'm sure you know.
Yeah, we hear a lot about Irv, but that's the other case that we hear about. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And then I worked on American Drug War II, which was the story of Cash Hyde, and in 2013 met Landon and Sierra Riddle. And Landon was just like such a special case to me. And I became much more involved with volunteering and working with these families that are essentially cannabis refugees, have to leave their states, their families sometimes, and just go out there and get alternative treatment because what they're trying isn't working, right?
Right.
And that's an interesting term, cannabis refugees. I don't know if I've ever heard it, but I think that's appropriate for what patients and their families have to do to get access to cannabis.
Right, and it's a lot more. It's a lot more work than people realize it is, because once you are in this and you have a child who benefits from cannabis, or a loved one, or you yourself benefit from cannabis,
yes,
it's almost like your eyes are open and now you have to do something. You have a duty to do something. So not only do you have to pay your bills and bring in your income and feed your other kids and do their school activities
Absolutely.
and take care of your critically or chronically ill kid, now you're also trying to get in front of the House of Representatives, and you're trying to educate doctors and nurses. And the strain is really, really big, is what I have noticed throughout the years, that these families just take on so much of the burden themselves, and we need to help them. So Sierra and the other Canna Moms in 2014, and then they kind of split ways, and Sierra did her thing in Colorado, and they've been doing their thing in Florida, and both just doing a great job of outreach and education and getting these stories in front of people who matter.
That's great. And that struggle that you mentioned of, the other children and the homework, and also lobbying and going to the House of Representatives. It's amazing that these moms and dads find time to do that. And it's great to have you supporting and guiding people who just enter that space.
Absolutely. It's incredible. I applaud all of the parents and families, even if it's not children. I know as time has gone on, we've seen more and more things that have opened our eyes, and always want to recognize our veterans, whether they need cannabinoid therapy for PTSD, for brain injuries, for depression, or just to get off narcotics. We stand for their right to choose for that as well. Canna Angels that Sierra and I have formed in Florida this year is not just for kids like Canna Moms is. It's kind of everybody that needs access that we want to bring the attention to.
Yeah.
So we just started this year. Our 501c3 application is in the mail with the check on the way to go get reviewed right now. And we're doing a big event July 1st in Destin, Florida. We're going to do a golf tournament.
Excellent.
That we're calling the Can National Open.
How can we find more information about the Canna Angels and support you? Because we're running out of time now, but I want to make sure people can get in touch with you.
You can go to cannaangels.com.
Excellent.
And it's CANNANGELS, but even if you misspell it, you'll find us.
Okay, excellent.
Good for me.
Thank you so much. We're going to stay in touch with you, and we'll have you back on the show so we can let you speak a little bit more about your experiences. But that Canna Angels program is really essential to the support that's needed moving forward as we battle for legalization.
Thank you so much, Carmela.
Thank you, Carmela.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you again.
All right.
Bye.
Well, I made it through the entire 2 hours without smelling my armpits, so that is a major,
Victory!
Yes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Next week, we're going to have David Singer on. We're going to be broadcasting live from the SECC conference in Broward County Convention Center. So
and Arby will be back next week, so his fans, no need to worry.
Yep. We look forward to seeing you guys in person next week. Those of you who can come down to Broward County.
All right.
So we're dragging Leon south of the border.
All right. You're listening to Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.